Yo. What's good? Can you hear me? What's up, Noah? What's up, Space? Space. What's up? Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining, even for a little bit. There you go. Boom. Get that out of here. Alright, finally. What's up, USG? Numbs, you would never know what series I like or dislike. I mean, I can try to guess, but there's too many options. Both good and bad. I can increase the audio just a little bit. There you go. It was a little bit too loud on my side, but I think that works. What's up, you Narakami? The Protag, the Kingpin, the OG himself is here. Let's make sure my computer is running to the utmost capacity. Yeah, sir. Yep, that's as best as it's gonna be as far as I can tell. What's up, Geodog? whichever it's pronounced. What's up, everybody? Hope you all doing a fantastic morning, evening, afternoon, midnight, non-existence, whatever. Whichever works. As I promised, I am live streaming at least, hopefully once a week or once every 2 weeks. But yeah, I know I wanted to stream at least today. Was meaning because of what you said in last stream about liking both Super, and then I see this title. Yeah, no, Super sucks, bro. But you know what also sucks? GT. But you know what's also the best peak quality fiction of all the time? GT. But you know what's also peak fiction in all of history? Super. So therefore, they both suck. Yeah, I don't know. I'm too lazy to come up with the actual title, so I'm like, you know what? Just I don't know. If I can't clickbait on my actual videos, I can clickbait on my live streams. That's the nice middle ground for me. DBM. I will, there is one video I am gonna live react. It's more so as, well, I'm curious what's it gonna be about, but also because I want to give a shout out to one of my boys who's been nice to talk to, so Hey, we got more people coming in. What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining in, even for a little bit. Get this stream rolling. If y'all have any suggestions of videos to watch, I might watch them. But yeah. Meanwhile, I'm gonna enjoy my nice morning coffee and my donut. Or is it hot chocolate? I don't know. DBM. What about DBM? You mean the best fan-made story of all human history? Yeah, now that's trash. Okay, it is hot chocolate. What can I say? So, I guess a quick minor update. The video is doing well. I think I'm getting there with the script. I still have to like get a rough idea, because I don't just I can immediately just write whatever I'm thinking of, but I like to have an idea of what I even want to say, because I mean, if I want to, I could just do a live react and live scripting, like just off the wall, just do it from the top of my head. But I know it's gonna be rambling and more rambling, so no, I like to script my videos to actually get to the point, save people a lot of the trouble, and I'll save their time. But otherwise, it's going very well. I've also been doing other researching for other video topics that it's still gonna take a while, but in terms of what I've been looking into, it's actually been very interesting and very entertaining. Gives me a chance to not only do a video topic, but also helps me be entertained, because I'm bored. Nice to watch a bunch of obscure things I have no knowledge on. What's up, Book of Dark? If you spent 10 years in prison for a crime that you didn't do / commit, would you be justified? What? I don't know where this question come from. Would it be justified and innocent people to get back at society for that wrongful conviction? No. Not in my book. Heck no. I mean, yeah, I understand that it's 10 years, don't get me wrong, but no. What's up, DJB? If Mira is able to one-shot the custom character from Xenoverse 1, wouldn't he be able to one-shot Demigra from the first game too? Yes. Well, I mean, it kind of depends, because specifically Demigra was kind of amped by the by absorbing Toki Toki, and then he also got stronger by his transformation. And in both endings, either the Avatar and Goku had to double comboed him into oblivion, or he got amped by everybody and then got defeated. So it kind of depends. If you were to say he could one-shot Demigra, if he can one-shot the Avatar who was multi-amped by his mentors, then yes, by association he would one-shot Demigra. But if you're just saying in base, like no amps, That's kind of questionable, but maybe. You didn't answer this last stream. Who wins, GT or Super Goku? Was that something I placed on the table? Because I don't recall mentioning that. I did react to the video, but I didn't really think I had to answer it. Super Goku on top. I mean, if you're a normal human being, then yeah, sure. If you're just built different, then no. I guess. I'll wait another 7 minutes and then I'll get the video up and going. Yeah, it just came out. What was it, yesterday? So hopefully it does pop up a little bit more. At Numbs, would Cell become immortal if he absorbs Gallic Jr.'s DNA? I mean, he technically already is. Like, he's not really... He's ageless. Like, he doesn't age, so he's... He has a form of immortality. Would he become immortal if he absorbed... I kind of want to say maybe. It's hard to say because we're not sure how. We're not really sure how the immortality works, so to speak. But yeah, maybe. Why does Super Saiyan Blue suck again? Oh, what's up, John Wallace? Why does it suck? Because it always has and always will be. But also, it doesn't suck because you're just a super hater. You're just a GT fanboy, so you don't know what you're talking about. PJ Teach, what's up? Thank you for dropping by. I like the idea of Pan not being able to go Super Saiyan, but instead tapping into the mystic power instead. I like the idea of it being some disability she could work around. Isn't Pan a quarter Saiyan? Yes. The guidebooks try to speculate or like theorize that if you're under a certain threshold percentage of your heritage of Saiyan biology, you cannot go Super Saiyan. But I think after all the media afterward, it's just like, nope, I guess not. I guess Pan just is not good at going super. I guess. I don't know. I will say though that would be pretty cool. I mean, to be fair, I feel like the mystic form is kind of underrated, or no, like underutilized is the best way to say it. Yeah, I feel like the mystic form definitely deserves more extension or expansion beyond it just being Gohan's unique form. So, understandable. What you mean? I like Super Saiyan Blue. It defeated Topo, the candidate of God of Destruction Topo. Well, then he's trash too. Super Saiyan Blue is trash, and because Topo lost to a trash form, therefore he's also trash. I like the idea. I also like the idea of Pan using actually key powered up versions of Hercule and Vidal's moves, like a dynamite kick that literally explodes or something. Yeah, I mean, when people like speculate or make a hypothetical of like how strong would Hercule be, or Fidelity, if they did take their key training seriously. It was like, well, Pan is kind of like the equivalent to that. They'd be pretty strong. Like, she does obviously have the Saiyan advantage, the Saiyan biology advantage, but nonetheless, she would be pretty much a good comparison as to how far they could go if they take it seriously. DJB, are there truly infinite timelines and Xenoverse? If yes, wouldn't Demigra be able to destroy them due to threatening the crack of time in his fight against Goku and the Future Warrior? The answer is yes. So, I can even post it here, because I actually have it on me now that I think about it. Actually, no, I do not. That's something else. But yes, basically, there's the Time Nest. The Time Nest contains those scrolls of time, scrolls of eternity. They have different names, but yeah. And each time scroll is meant to represent an actual timeline. Like, people think it's just like some little pocket dimension. No, like, the scroll is a literal timeline, basically. So, as Xenotrunks said in the very first game, in the first 5 minutes when you start the story mode, the Time Nest contains all of time of what will happen or what has already happened. So the fact it can contain infinite scrolls would basically mean it is a literal infinite multiverse, no matter what. And then there is the parallel quest, which I didn't realize until, much more into my research with the series. The parallel quests are not actual time scrolls. They are their own separate set multiverse. That is weird. I know, it's weird, but yeah, the Time Nest and the parallel quest are different branches of multiverse. So you have the Time Nest, its own multiverse, and then you have the parallel quest. So in Xenoverse 1, there's like 120-ish quests, and in Xenoverse 2, there's like 151. So each mission is basically its own timeline as well. And then lastly, you have Few. What's it called? The Tokipedia? The Tokipedia, I believe it was. Few literally created his own time scrolls. Either a time scroll or just its own sets of time scrolls. So that's why if in Xenoverse 2 you can have multiple branches with your own mentor, with different missions and different outcomes, etc. And one of the robots basically said he made his own time scroll, which is not even part of the Time Nest, which is also not part of the parallel quest. So that's right there. It's kind of like its own third set multiverse. And then, as Chrono has stated, the crack of time is outside the Time Nest itself, and basically everything else. It's outside of time, blah blah blah, which you can basically imply that by itself, by definition, or just by lore, is above those three sets of multiverses. So technically, yes. So answer your question, if he can, because specifically if Goku joins the Avatar's fight in Xenoverse 1, their battle was enough to nearly collapse the crack of time. I'm not sure if it somehow restored itself or it was able to be prevented, but nonetheless their fight was so powerful and destructive it was able to nearly collapse the crack of time, which in of itself is like beyond the timelines of the Time Nest and stuff. So yes, if Demigra with his fighting is able to nearly collapse that realm, then he more than likely can very much collapse everything else. In fact, he pretty much did, because in the final battle of Xenoverse 1, he was very direct with his intentions. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna erase all of history, and then I'm gonna just recreate it to my own liking. and then we saw how the Avatar, like, lost conscious and then was just in a white void. So he pretty much did on screen. So I don't feel like that's really, I feel like that's not, there's little room for interpretation. He pretty much just did it. Cell Max, come on, y'all. Super Saiyan God can beat that. Who cares? Nobody cares about Cell Max. When they don't know how to scale. Yeah. What's up, Tweakin' Gone? Nice to see you. At Numbs, Dragon Ball GT was often described as Goku time. Yeah, because the focus was always on him, Trunks, and Pan. Yeah. Oh, I'm well aware of the Goku time. PJ, to me, Oob and Pan would make for more interesting new main characters than Gohan, Trunks, etc. I think they just have more interesting potential for character development than the others. Yes. Yeah, I'm still baffled by how little... I mean, Pan does have her own development in GT. People obviously don't like her just because of her bratty nature, but when I went over it, I noticed that she has variety. I feel like obviously the arcs didn't do her proper justice, but in terms of actual potential and execution, it was there. Oob definitely not. Like, what the heck happened to Oob? Like, bro he had everything going for him, and then it just didn't went anywhere. It's like, what the heck? Oh, that's some good hot chocolate right there. All right. I'm gonna boot up my boy's video. It's 25 minutes long, so I have no idea what's gonna be in the video, but it's gonna be very interesting. Let me put this down real quick. Okay. There you go. I'm not sure. Can y'all even see my... whatever. Who cares? Oob gain a new main character and all over, and they do nothing with him. Yeah. Alright. So, basically, the video is by my boy, Captain. It just came out yesterday. Is Zeno Goku versus Featherine close? The only thing I did is I gave him, like, cliff notes. Like, I just gave him ideas or, like, you know, scans of, like, Zeno Goku scaling. Obviously, I myself haven't really gone, you know, fully in depth regarding Zeno Goku scaling, since it's more so directed towards other villain characters or whatever. But I nonetheless gave him some sources, some scans. I broke down a bit of the dimensional things, went really hyped up to the max. But Featherine, I have no knowledge on, so who knows. Oh my gosh, it's the boy Qua, man. What's up, sir? Do you know how weird it is to get a notification of someone else making a live stream in order to react to a video that you made? It's the weirdest possible feeling, bro. Hope you enjoy. Oh, you made it with it? Oh, snap. Oh, well, how about that? Yeah, the boy Captain. I helped him out with the Zeno Goku part, but I have no knowledge on Featherine. I think I know where they came from, but yeah. But yeah, actually, before I forget, before I get caught at 4K, boom, there you go. And I forgot to subscribe to him. There you go. Don't worry, I subscribed. And yeah, let's react. And I'm still gonna be, you know, critical. I'm still gonna be. Okay, I'm not gonna be like toxic, you know, critical, but I am gonna be like, I'm interested, like what's gonna be said. I hope I get to learn a lot about Featherine. So, actually, and by the end of reacting, I'll definitely give you guys the link to it.
Your tail.
Oh, and hopefully there will be less buffering on my side. So yeah, I literally did a video with the exact title of your live stream. Bruh. What are the chances? Oh, that's funny. Oh, bro, that is so funny. That's so coincidental. I literally was just like, I don't know. I can't be bothered to think of a actual like creative live stream. I'm just like, I don't know. Just this form sucks. Anyways, chill with Numbs. All right. Anyways.
Your tale, or rather the tale you have shared, has entertained unceasingly even to this very moment. I have invested such a meager bit of my power in you, yet profited so greatly from it.
Oh snap. That beat does go hard, I'm not gonna lie.
Before the video starts, I would like to thank a few people for helping me gather all of the scans, feats, and statements for my Zeno Goku scaling that I'll be using in today's video. Huge shout out and thanks to Don Boss and Odin Oni, you guys know who you are. They don't have YouTube channels, but I greatly appreciate them for helping me with this. And thank you to the Rogue guy for providing translations for some of the scans in the video as well. His link will be down below in the description.
Yeah.
And thank you to Numbers for also helping me with the scans and the scaling for Zeno Goku. I'll also have his YouTube channel link down below. And with all of that being said, let's get on with the video.
Well, first of all, I appreciate the shout out. Thank you very much. But obviously, all the credit goes to you since you put the effort into making this video, so heck yeah.
In my video about Goku versus Featherine that I posted about 3 months ago, there were many people that were upset about me saying that Goku loses and that Featherine would completely destroy him.
Actually, Captain, Goku is clearly boundless plus. You're just a biased Featherine soy boy. You don't know what you're talking about. Stupid.
And in today's video, I wanted to go over Zeno Goku versus Featherine and see if this non-canon iteration of Goku actually has what it takes to defeat her. Before the video starts, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and comment if you enjoy my content, and it would help me and the channel out a lot. And with that being said, let's get started with Zeno Goku scaling. First is Universe 7's cosmology, and the first thing to talk about is its living universe, or the temporal realm, at least from how the anime describes it. This realm is stated to be infinite and is also ever expanding. And is said to have innumerable stars and galaxies that are composed of innumerable nebulae. There's also the demon realm, which although it isn't within the living realm itself, it is stated to be the opposite of the living realm in the sense that it is said to be like two sides of the same coin, which should mean that it also has its own macrocosm within it, and the fact that it doesn't exist anywhere else like in Otherworld or other higher realms, it would make sense for it to be connected to the living realm. And this
some people, I mean, to be fair, the franchise doesn't really establish or talk much about the demon realm or some of the other places besides the living universe, which understandably, you know, we're focused on the main cast, not the, you know, other like world building. But yes, that's what most of the sources pretty much explain, that it's just like, it's like a mirror, basically. The living universe is infinite, the demon realm and stuff are also infinite, so yeah.
This would end up making the living realm 4D. Next, there's Otherworld, and this entire realm is stated to be dimensionally transcendent to the living realm.
Oh man, I'm curious. What is Captain gonna say about this? Don't worry, I'm not gonna go ham on this statement since it is gonna be highball scaling for these two characters, but I'm curious what he's gonna bring up.
And that those in the lower realm cannot perceive this place. And there's also the Kaioshin realm, which exists directly outside of the macrocosm and is 1/10 the size of it. This would make Otherworld 5D and the Kaioshin realm 6D. Next is the neutral space, and this is the space that houses all 12 universes within it. So because it not only holds Universe 7 and its macrocosm, but also holds the 11 other universes that should also have their own macrocosms, then this would surpass Universe 7 as a whole and would make the neutral space 7D.
And yeah, and that's also the reason why I'm always against the whole otherworld transcendent outerversal logic, is because if it's beyond the concept of dimensions entirely, then why are there dimensions beyond Universe 7? Unless you want to argue that there are also outerversal constructs beyond the outerversal construct, is like, that's why I'm always just like iffy on that argumentation. But in his case, he is just simply saying that each dimension stacks on top of one another, which, to be fair, that still makes the cast really strong for destroying these macrocosms if they are at that level. But I mean, if you do want to go with the outerversal bandwagon, then sure, I guess Goku is multiple layers of outerversal, so sure. I guess.
Then there's the entire temporal space, and this is the space that surpasses even the neutral space and is beyond all 12 macrocosms. There is a possibility that the world of Void or Zeno's palace could exist within this space, as we see what can arguably be the different universes as orbs around Zeno's palace, but it's currently unconfirmed if this is the case. This would make the entire temporal space 8D. Next is
we still to this day do not know where the heck is that jellyfish realm Zeno lives at, or where the world of Void like correlates to the rest of the cosmology, because for all we know it could just be a pocket dimension or just a separate dimension, but you know, nothing more. It's kind of like obviously a parallel universe next to another parallel universe. For all we know, the world of Void could also just be a 4D realm. We literally don't know, but yeah.
The white space, and this is the space that we see Zeno in after he erases future Trunks' timeline. We see many different timelines all throughout this space, which would make it higher than even the entire temporal space and would therefore make it 9D. Now onto the heroes in Xenoverse cosmology, where things like the Timeness, Parallel Quest, and the Tokipedia.
Hey, it's almost as if I brought this up and answered for a specific person. Oh, what a coincidence. Again, I just find it humorous when people criticize me for not knowing my stuff, but then I'm like, well, I am using what the series is giving me, so I don't know where's the confusion coming from.
All exist, starting with the Timeness. This place is where all of Dragon
this is the Scroll of
Ball's
Eternity.
main timeline is housed in the Book of Beginning and
Trunks, there's events in the Book of the Beginning and End. That means you're not supposed to be here, right? So yes, the Timeness is a literal like infinite multiversal structure, so to speak, if it can contain everything of time. So
and where the Scroll of Time are housed that have every and any alteration in Dragon Ball's many different timelines and histories. These histories are not only infinite, but are also ever expanding, as slight alterations can create new branching histories. This is why Fuse says to Deborah that he wants to explore all possibilities, with this statement being made in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2's DOC campaign titled Infinite History, meaning that those histories are already present and are ever expanding as time goes on. Dragon Ball having infinite timelines and histories is also consistent, with even games saying that the number of worlds are infinite. The Timeness housing all of this is very impressive, but not as impressive as the Parallel Quests, which are their own separate and unique histories that aren't connected to not only the main timeline, but even the ones contained within the Timeness. Time Patrollers state that just like the histories connected to the Timeness, the ones in the Parallel Quest are also infinite and ever expanding, so much so that just trying to figure out which is the true history is pretty much impossible.
Yeah, so if you want like an example, in the first like parallel quest missions of Xenoverse 1 and 2, you obviously fight Raditz or whatever. And so maybe in people's minds they think that, oh, this is just some like self-contained pocket dimension, like maybe it's just that wasteland or that planet Earth and then that's it. Like no, beyond the scope of that event mission, there is still the infinite expanding universe, there's still the other world, there's still everything. Obviously the main focus is just finishing that quest and then be done, but nonetheless entering any of those quests would still contain its own life, reality, and stuff. So so pretty much every parallel quest, if the macrocosm of DBZ can reach 7D, then they are casually interacting with a 7D reality from Parallel Quest and Time Scrolls. So that's already pretty insane when you really think about it in that grand scheme of things.
And these histories are not contained by the
this is the Toki world where the flow of time gathers.
Timeness.
It's very blatant. People, obviously maybe people don't care about the story, but when you actually read it, it's very consistent with the whole multiverse stuff.
But by the world of Toki itself, which is a world where all of time converges. Each parallel quest is also essentially its own multiverse that has its own Timeness with its own set of individual infinite timelines, etc., etc. The Tokipedia is the same in the fact that there are also an infinite amount of timelines within it as well, and these histories are also their own separate multiverses that have been tampered with by Few, who was able to recreate the Book of Beginning and End, with all of this making the cosmology 10D. Next is the Crack of Time, and this
there you go. There's the one For the one that was asking the Migra scaling of beyond the crack of time, yeah. The crack of time is an enclosed space that's separated from dimension of time. The Migra is supposedly imprisoned there. So yeah, the fact that it's separate from dimension of time pretty much implies that yes, it is beyond, maybe not the concept of time, but beyond the dimensions or the laws that govern the timeness and stuff. So yeah, again, if everything is canon, quote unquote, in Dragon Ball, then it's weird that somehow the other world is where it is, quote unquote, universal, but then there's the crack of time that is beyond even that realm. Is still somehow not even defined as transcendence. It's just an enclosed. Yeah, it even says right there is an enclosed space. You would think a outerversal construct that is not be bound by the concept of space, quote unquote, would not have that use that type of terminology. That's why I'm always just like, come on, guys, please. I get it, I know, but GT Goku Boundless memes and stuff, I get it, but let's be somewhat accurate to the writer's storytelling. Like, come on.
Place exists outside of time itself and cannot be accessed or tampered with through any conventional means. Even things like the Time Nest, Parallel Quest, and the Tokipedia are below this space, which would make the crack of time 11D. Next is the subspace or teleportation zone, and this is the space that Goku enters when using instant transmission. This space has been stated to not have the concept of time within it and is said to blatantly be above time itself. This space is also not connected to any of the realms and is pretty much its own thing. So because of this space not having the concept of time within it and also being above it, then this would be placed somewhere around the crack of time in terms of dimensionality and would make this space around 11D as well. Or you can say that this space is actually 12D, but it really is up to interpretation. Next,
and another reason to justify that is because in Xenoverse 1, I showed it in the last stream, I believe, but Goku, despite the crack of time being outside of time itself, Goku instant teleportation into the crack of time. So the fact that the crack of time is outside of time and Goku uses the teleportation zone that is also transcendent, quote unquote, of time, then that kind of supports that validation of the claim. So yeah.
Is the blank,
and then there's Arale. Yeah, Arale's the Dr. Slump metascaling. It goes hard. It's crazy. It's so funny, man.
Page, and this is the page that we see Dragon Ball media itself drawn on. So this would be 12D. Next is Beats World, and this is the fictional real world in Super Dragon Ball Heroes, and everything Dragon Ball related is viewed as fiction. And all of the realms and things I've mentioned so far would exist below this place. So this would be 13D. Next, there's Charisma World, and this is the world where Heroes players view Beats World as fiction and would again be above everything I've mentioned so far, so this would be 14D. Then there's the actual real world, or our world, and since this would surpass even Charisma World as it is viewed as fiction and it surpasses everything in any related Dragon Ball media, then this would be 15D and be around Outerversal. So just in terms
Outerversal, yeah. I mean, you could just by default stack another dimension on top of that, but yeah, when people love to use like the fourth wall or the scales to the audience type of logic, then sure, then but as a result, he would just be Outerversal. You could say he was Outerversal by the time he scaled to Arale because of the whole meta fictional interaction stuff with the author and whatnot, but again, if you still wish to deny any form of Outerversal scaling for Dragon Ball, then you can still at least see that Goku being at the bare minimum complex multiversal is pretty consistent through and through. So,
in terms of dimensionality, Zeno Goku can be argued to be 15D or Outerversal, but there are some questions I could see you all asking, and I'll explain them. One of them is, how does Zeno Goku scale to the actual real world? Well, that's because in a certain promotional material for Super Dragon Ball Heroes, there were villains from the series and games that invaded Japan and were causing mass destruction, in which Zeno Goku would either scale to or above. There are arguments that this Japan exists within Beats World, with Raditz awakening within Tokyo Shibuya, and that the heroes or the player.
Yo, shout out to the boy Senkai. He's always he's a goat in the hero scaling department.
avatars are needed to step in and stop the invasion, similar to how Beat can use his avatar to interact with the DBH arcade game. But there's also arguments that this Japan exists outside of even Beat's world, with this Japan being called the quote-unquote real world, and that it is its own universe and is separate from the rest of the Dragon Ball Heroes arcade, with further details saying that Baby has launched a full-scale invasion on Japan, and more information saying things like, and I quote, Saiyans are in reality, Saiyans are in the real world, question mark, end quote. Depending on how you interpret this, the event could have taken place in a universe that's even above Beat's world and not connected to the Dragon Ball Heroes cosmology, or this did take place within his world or cosmology, since we, the actual people, couldn't interact with these characters without the avatars, just like Beat does. Even
again, it could just be another layer dimension stacked, but he's pretty much emphasizing that point, that it could just be another fake real Japan. But it's so weird. Heroes with its promotion material is so like convoluted. That's why in all my videos when I do talk about Heroes, I am so like passing, like briefly brushing off some of those things, because that's precisely why I kind of just want to scoot over from having to talk about it, because I know people are going to be so confused, and having to summarize everything in 5 minutes is not going to be satisfying, since I know there are going to be those who really want a more detailed exploration of how it works, but it just be like that, unfortunately. So
even though we've talked about the cosmology, we still haven't talked about some of Zeno Goku's feats, so let's get into that.
Oh yeah, and also it's worse because if they can scale to those dimensions in base, then it's even worse when they just get multipliers of their transformations.
One of the first things I'd like to talk about is the events he has gone through, as this is important in figuring out a general gauge of his capabilities. We know that he has went through all of original Dragon Ball and its movies, and he's also gone through all of Dragon Ball Z and its movies as well. The only movie he hasn't gone through is the Super Android 13 one, as that's the timeline where Krillin used the remote to destroy the androids.
Well, that's kind of it's more speculative. I'm not gonna argue it must have been this specific event, because it's so weird. For Android 13, we just saw the opening of 17 killing Jiro, and then that's it. The Goku goes shopping with his friends, and that's it. We literally don't know what the heck. Like, does Cell exist? Did he died? Where's Android 16? Where's the other androids? You know, what happened in this timeline? We literally do not know what the heck happened for it to like divert that pathway. So maybe it still did happen. It's just it had to really adjust a few of the plot points, but yeah, sure. It doesn't really affect Zeno Goku scaling all that much, but yeah.
So it wouldn't apply to him. One of the first feats I'd like to talk about come from the first DBZ movie, Dead Zone. And in this movie, the villain Garlic Jr. can open a portal to a space called the Dead Zone, and this space is said to be a hyperspace, and those who enter will have both their body and soul frozen with no escape. Now, there are contentions on if this is actually a hyperspace, with many citing this as inconsistent or not viable. However, if you want to take Koyama's opinions on the movies into consideration, or the Zenshu, which also calls it a hyperspace, then you could use this to say that it would be 4D, and Zeno Goku clearly scales above this. Then in the fourth,
the more accurate translation, I think it was from Zenkai as well. It was a super space, which can still nonetheless be defined as a 4D reality. I also did that in my own video to acknowledge other argumentation, where it's like, like the adventure guidebook says he was opening a portal to the Dead Zone, so he didn't actually created it. But then every cast member says he explicitly created the thing. He didn't open anything, he created it. And then what was the other thing? Or that it was a black hole-like ability, so maybe you can argue it was just a black hole creation feat, which even then that's still impressive, because black holes are really like a very impressive creation feat, so that's not something to really look down upon. So it's hard to say. Again, it's you can come up with your own decisions, because even Koyama, he said that in his eyes, he believes that Garlic Jr. does not know his own abilities as well, so he doesn't know the true nature of what the Dead Zone even is. So even that statement from the Daizenshu is kind of arguable. If you really want to say it is, then sure. But for those who don't want to agree that it's a super space, that's perfectly fine, because there's definitely a lot of room for speculation and kind of a bit of disagreement. So, but for Zeno Goku scaling, it's just more proof that he can be beyond 4D scaling and stuff.
This movie named Lord Slug, Goku is able to utilize Kaioken times 100, which, if you didn't know, is absolutely insane given how much of a multiplier this is for Zeno Goku. You could maybe argue that he could potentially use this in conjunction with his other forms, but because we haven't seen him do this, then this could be unlikely. And in movie 5,
yeah, and also there was a French promo, like it was a really old trailer promo where he was Masako Nozawa, the actress for Goku, did say Kaioken times 100. So, and if Goku can especially since this is kind of composite, if Goku can go blue Kaioken times 20, I feel like a times 100 is likely viable. Like, I'm not saying the gap between times 20 and times 100 is small, but it's still, he's literally like what, 1/5 of the way there. So I say it's kind of possible. I mean, bro, can you imagine you're literally trying to control, you're having God key control. So you have to control the key of the God form. You have to control the key of Super Saiyan, and then control the key of your Kaioken. That's insane. Like, that's a lot of mastery you need to maintain without literally self-destructing. So I feel like it is possible, especially if it's like composite Zeno or Capsule Corp Goku.
Cooler's Revenge in the Toei Anime Fair July 9th.
Oh no, he is a powerful enemy with immeasurable superpower. Bro, I think that means he's out of reversal. I'm just saying. Bro, I think I was downplaying my boy Cooler. Maybe I should redo that video.
1991 pamphlet. Cooler was stated to have immeasurable superpower in his final form, and in the 6th movie called Cooler's Revenge, Goku was able to move around inside of the subspace or teleportation zone of instant transmission while battling against Metal Cooler. And as I said, this space is not only above time itself, but is also said that the very concept of time does not exist here. Then in movie 8, when Goku fought Broly, he had gained energy from the Z Fighters and was said in the Toei Anime Fair March 1993 pamphlet to have had his ki increased by 1,000 times.
And in case people disagree, a reminder, ki is made out of courage, vigor, and right-mindedness. So courage is indeed part of ki. So yes, I know maybe people are confused with the statement because, you know, obviously it's not very blatant with the Japanese, but yes, it is a direct increase to the ki.
1993 pamphlet to have had his ki increased by 1,000 times. And in movie 9, BoJack Unbound, BoJack was stated to
oh, what? Bruh, the BoJack agenda. No, bro. No, man, Captain. What are you talking about? BoJack is only planet level. No, man. He transcendence. No, he not. He's Transcendence Planet Plus. That's the best way to argue.
Have transcendent power. This is also the same thing that was said for Super Gogeta in the Fusion Reborn movie, and is also said for Haruta Garn in movie 13, Wrath of the Dragon. And Zeno Goku scales above all of this.
Yep.
He also scales above.
He's transcendent to the power of 3 at this point.
Of Demigra, who was threatening to destroy the Time Nest, which contains all of Dragon Ball's history, and even the world of Toki Toki, which houses that, and the Parallel Quest, which are their own separate infinite multiverse. And he scales above a stronger version of Demigra, who is going to destroy both the world of Dragon Ball Heroes and Beats World, which is transcended to Dragon Ball Heroes, and views it as fiction. This would also include
specifically from Ultimate Mission X, when Demigra in that continuity goes transcendent form. So yeah, it's not specifically from Xenoverse, but nonetheless, everything correlating to a single Demigra would give him that scaling.
Toki Toki.
Yeah. As good, what did he used to say? Yeah, the bird Toki Toki, an important being responsible for the existence of all dimensions. So if you imply that's like infinite hyperversal, then there you go, I guess. Yeah.
With Demigra also being...
Yeah, right here. This guy at the end of the adventure beyond space and time. So I guess once again, out of reversal to those people who disagree.
Said to be beyond space and time. Then there's Mira, who he also scales to.
It took me forever to find where this text come from, but it came from the Dragon Ball Online guidebook. I found the original text, and yes, that is actually stated. And yeah, so maybe this is more so like existence hacks rather than AP hacks, but given what we know of mirror scaling, that's probably not accurate. So yeah,
was stated to also transcend time. One character I'd like to go over though is Eos. Eos was the former Supreme Kai of Time.
How do y'all pronounce it? Is it Eos, Eos, Ios? I think there was even like in Japanese Igus or something like that. I don't know how to pronounce it. Like even in my video, I kind of like felt bad. I'm like, dude, there's too many ways to pronounce it. Like in English and Spanish and Japanese, it's so weird.
Command is very powerful, being able to outpace and give a post-tournament of power Capsule Corp Goku a challenge, with hearts of previous antagonists and Super Dragon Ball heroes, denoting Eos is just God, and with her unique abilities like having precognition and being able to freeze not only time but people's consciousnesses too, and Capsule Corp Goku is able to adapt to her pretty quickly while only using Ultra Instinct Sign and not even the mastered version, and we see Zeno Goku fight against this Goku after his battle with Eos, and they were pretty much equal until their last clash with...
Bro, this panel goes hard. Like, this is what I wish Dragon Ball Super was like. Not the, GT meets Super, but like that energy is just, oh, it's so good.
Capsule Corp Goku's mastered Ultra Instinct, one-shotting Zeno Goku in his Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 form. So this would upskill Zeno...
Yeah, keep in mind, he only won after that punch, so they were very, very equal. And not just in the manga, but in the anime and the arcade, which, yes, I checked all versions. They pretty much confirmed that Capsule Corp Goku is stronger via MUI, but beneath that, they're pretty much relative.
Goku from the previously mentioned feats. But that's all of Zeno Goku's AP feats out of the way, so now let's go over his speed. You can scale Zeno Goku to infinite speed all the way up to irrelevant speed if you believe him to be in any outerversal tier of power.
Yeah.
For infinite speed, you can scale him to traveling through the demon realm, which is said to be two sides of the same coin to the living realm, with it being stated to be both infinite and ever expanding in size. And we see Zeno Goku travel throughout this realm very casually. You can also scale him to infinite speed by using Capsule Corp Goku's feat of flying to the Grand Priest's temple, which arguably exists in a space that is beyond all 12 macrocosms, with the promotional anime statement stating that he actually flew there.
Simulant Golf miraculously survived, flew to the Grand. Yeah, I think maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm misremembering or whatever, but I swear I believe in the arcade, possibly. He actually used the Zeno button to go there, but if he did fly there, then sure, that's perfectly fine.
And didn't just teleport. Next, there's immeasurable speed, and you could group this up with inaccessible speed depending on how you interpret the feats and statements. But you could get them here with movie Goku's feat of traveling and fighting Metal Cooler in the subspace, which is stated to not have the concept of
and base, by the way. This is base Goku from an inferior era.
time within it, and also surpasses the concept entirely. Or you could use things like the Dark Dragon Balls physically traveling to different eras and timelines, which various statements seem to support, or Dark Broly flying from hell in an entirely different era all the way to the demon realm, which exists in two completely separate parts of the macrocosm. And in the Xenoverse 1 game, Goku uses instant transmission to teleport to the crack of time.
Oh, there you go. He brought it up. Well, what a coincidence.
Which exists beyond Dragon Ball's cosmology, which is insane, by the way. And with his speed covered, let's go over his hacks and abilities next.
Oh my gosh, you might as well just say what doesn't he have. Like, jeez. His hacks list is gonna be insane. Oh, and don't worry guys, I will be reading y'all's comments. It's just, oh man, I'm already in the zone with this video.
To begin, Zeno Goku has access to every form of Super Saiyan, starting from Super Saiyan,
with the exceptions of the God forms, but I mean, the regular quote-unquote forms are just as powerful.
And 1 all the way up to Super Saiyan 4 Limit Breaker. He does not have access to Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue, or any variation of Ultra Instinct, with Super Saiyan being a 50 times multiplier, 2 being 100 times base, and 3 being 400 times base.
At minimum, obviously.
And 4 and Limit Breaker being comparable in amps to the likes of Super Saiyan Blue and possibly Ultra Instinct. Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 has been stated to be power that surpasses Goku's limits.
Yeah, people for some reason, maybe it's because of the design, but people think that Zeno Goku gained God Key when the Capsule Corp variants gave them their key to them. But no, the promotional material just says he was filled with a lot of key. Like, just maybe because their key is God in nature, it gave them a massive amp, but none of the source materials really claim that their keys, their Zeno key specifically, is actually God-like in nature. So again, it's kind of weird, but for as far as we know, the Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 is not a God like fusion with Super Saiyan 4. It's just a heightened version of regular Super Saiyan 4 as far as we know.
Meaning that he can continuously break his limits and gain more power while in this state. This transformation is also so powerful that it lets him fight on par with CC Goku. He can also use the Kaioken, which ignites his ki and increases all of his stats with explosive power. And Zeno Goku also has access to the Ki Sword, which can do many things like bypass and negate regeneration and immortality, and can make Goku immune to time-based hacks and abilities. But what we really need to dive into are the abilities he can use in the arcade game. I won't go through all of his arcade abilities as this video would be way too long, but I'll go over the important ones that I think could be discussed in this matchup. First is Dimensional Domain, and this ability allows Zeno Goku,
not domain expansion, different series, guys,
to reduce the stamina of his opponent down to 1. Next is Shinryu Hero's Wish, and this ability lets Goku ask Shinryu to recover his strength and stamina during a battle. Then there's Super Warrior Freeze Attack, and this ability stops the opponent from attacking while also damaging them and lowering their energy by a substantial amount. Next is Steel Body, and this ability essentially increases Goku's durability in proportion to the enemy's increased attack power. And then there's the Zeno Orb, and this increases the chance of a Miracle Perfect. And what that is basically increasing the probability of actions that Zeno Goku does. And that's all of Zeno Goku's.
Yeah, literal causality manipulation, bro. And before someone tries to argue, oh, it's just gameplay mechanics, normally I would agree, but Heroes is very blatant and like promoting or advertising what is done in the arcades to be done in the series. So like how Omen Goku can literally bypass precognition of Eos or Eos, the literal god of time, the goddess of time. So, and that's applicable in the arcade. So it is weirdly enough canons. So whatever abilities they can do in the arcade can in fact be applicable to their I guess composite Zeno counterparts.
Scaling covered, so now I'll go over Featherine.
Bruh, it's already been 15 out of 24 minutes. I have no idea what will be added for her, but I feel like a lot of the attention is to Zeno Goku, but I'm very curious what's going to be said.
And see how she scales in comparison. Now in my Super Goku vs Featherine video, I went into a lot of detail regarding Yumineko's cosmology, and to keep the video from getting too long, if you would like to see my more in-depth thoughts and reasoning about the cosmology, then please check out that video. As for this video, I'll quickly go over most of the things I mentioned before, while also adding in new info that I didn't talk about. So anyways, to begin, there's the human domain, which is the lowest layer of reality in Yumineko. The bottommost layer of reality is 3D, as it's pretty much a representation of our regular world where it follows scientific theories and is where humans reside. Then there's the 4D layer, which you could argue to be Rokenjima when Beatrice made it into her cat box. Next is the 5D layer, which would be above the 4D layer. Then there's the 6D layer, and this layer is the higher narrative dimension where we see Beatrice not physically interacting with the chess piece of Battler. Then there's the 7D layer, which which is the magic world, and this world is a meta-narrative space and would be
dang.
above the previous one since it is said to be a parallel world to the human world and is compared to that of a meta-like space. Next is the 8D layer, which is the underside of the game board, and this layer is considered an upper world to the previous layers and is said to exist between the human world and the witch domain, and it's also said to exist nowhere in the world and at no time in the world, along with
Nah, I think that's clearly outerversal argumentation. I'm just saying, bro, maybe that AD is actually outer easily.
everything leading here while nothing could be reached from here, and all times connected to this place but no time exists here. Now we get into the witch domain, with the next layer being 9D, and this is the meta room. This is the room where the higher plane beings play their games and where they see everyone and everything in the human world as chess pieces on a chessboard. Next is the 10D layer, and this is a layer that exists directly over the normal layer and where we see a lower version of Battler and Beto interact. It's also considered a higher narrative layer compared to the previous one. Next is the 11D layer, and this is
Bro, they're just casually surpassing these dimensions like there's freaking, like they're nothing. What the heck? Jesus.
Maria's and Beatrice's Golden Land, which exists outside of and parallel to the game board. Then there's the 12D layer, which is the Sea of Fragments connected to Beatrice's cat box. This is basically the realm in which all of Beatrice's worlds exist upon. Then there's the 13D layer, and this would be the Game Master's existence, because Battler was able to figure out the entire truth of Beatrice's game, along with the fact that the existence and power of a meta being is derived from their imagination. He was able to ascend to a Game Master and is able to make his own game boards and manipulate his own pieces at will, which would put him higher than all of the previously mentioned layers. Then the 14D layer, which is Burncastle's chapel, and this exists in a cat box that is much larger than Beatrice's and covers the whole thing. Then there's the 15D layer, which is the Sea of Fragments of Burncastle's cat box, and just like Beatrice's, it is the background of Burn's entire cat box. And then there's the 16D layer, which is Heaven, and this is above Burn's cat box because Willard says that Lion is of a lower plane of existence, and the narrator says that Willard's existence is on a different level, and this is the last known quantifiable layer that we can measure, as every layer that's above this is beyond the concept of dimensionality. And add in the fact that the hierarchy of the verse is infinite and never ending, this would make Featherine lowballed high hyperversal all the way to high outer or even boundless, considering how you would interpret her cosmology. This would be including Featherine transcending the infinite hierarchy of the verse, with the first layer already containing things like higher dimensions, transcendental realms, beyond everywhere and every time, and even containing alternate possibilities, with each layer after infinitely and dimensionally transcending the previous one and viewing the lower layers as fiction. This isn't including things like the Kakura, which are crystallizations of concepts, like for example different worlds.
Yeah, I think that is precisely what a Dragon Ball in general kind of lacks, because with this types of series where they're more blatant with their wording, Dragon Ball, it's often uses like terms like concepts or transcendent, hyper, or immeasurable to like general, like in a more general manner, just to like hype up a stupid game. But then with this, they are very blatant with they incorporate it into the actual story without any lack of room for interpretation. They're just very blatant, like, no, we're not just transcending the concept of 4D time. No, we're transcending all of concepts, period. So that definitely gives most franchises that are blatant with their wording more credence to their outerversal scaling compared to Dragon Ball that is just more, I guess, mundane about it.
Fates, possibilities, and so on, with there being infinite possibilities, which would mean that Featherine is above all concepts within the verse. She also transcends the City of Books, which is a library that houses infinite books that are said to be their own multiverses, which would have their own infinite amount of concepts, their own infinite hierarchies, and even infinite parallel worlds as well. She's even above the infinite mirror concept, in which two parallel mirrors create an infinite regression with with each mirror holding an infinite hierarchy. Meaning one mirror is outerversal and then the next is high outerversal, and so on and so forth. And since Featherine has the power and abilities of a creator, she is beyond the concept of restrictions and has no restrictions whatsoever to her being, like creating things from nothingness and even returning said things to nothingness. And that's pretty much all of Featherine's cosmology and AP stuff covered. So now let's go over her speed next. When it comes to her speed, she can scale from infinite speed all the way to irrelevant. Infinite speed comes from her transcending distance, as when Battler became a grandmaster, he knows.
I would think, given her status, I'm sure he's gonna bring it up, but I would think that her status as this deity would give her more so omnipresence, because people often confuse speed with omniscience, or like, you know, since your state of being is the existence itself, there is no distance you need to travel. You are the universe, the multiverse, the outerverse itself. So I feel like that would actually more so bump her up to omnipresence rather than just speed in general. But again, I'm assuming my boy Cap is going to bring that up, but who knows.
No longer operated under the standard speed formula, with Featherine scaling above him. Immeasurable and inaccessible speed come from Featherine transcending restrictions and bypassing the speed formula entirely, which also qualifies her for irrelevant speed. And that's really all there is to say about that. So now let's tackle her hacks and abilities. Now when it comes to this, the first thing to talk about is her truth ability. With her truths, she's able to use the red truth, blue truth, and golden truths in combat.
Oh, I thought he was going to say the purple truth.
With the red truth, she's able to use this conceptual weapon to bypass durability and attack concepts themselves.
Dang.
This weapon can also deny the existence of concepts, and it is stated that using defensive concepts like dodging, blocking, physical barriers, mental isolation, and conceptual inheritance don't work against this, and that regardless of even stamina, when being hit with this attack, the target's stamina does not matter. With the blue truth, this ability makes the target doubt themselves, and in doing so makes them deny their own existence.
Dang.
But unlike the red truth, this ability can be defended and evaded against.
Oh, okay, hold on, let me read that. Unlike the red key, it is possible to evade and defend against it. However, while the red key has severe restrictions regarding how it can be used, the blue key can be wielded with great ease and manipulated at will in all situations. Dang, that is insane. Bruh, that's insane.
Then there's the gold truth, and this is arguably just as powerful as the red truth, however it is very situation dependent. Next is Endless 9, and this is an ability that creates a barrier that can deny anything that the user doesn't believe. Then there's her narrative and plot manipulation, and this allows Featherine to manipulate or create a script in battle that can basically give her an instant win con in many matchups. So now that I've gone over everything, who would win between Zeno Goku and Featherine? Let's find out. I'll be honest here, this battle is extremely close, and I mean so close that you can argue either or winning depending on your scaling and interpretation.
Yeah.
Both have AP and speed not only comparable to each other, but also pretty much equal, and their hacks and abilities counter each other as well. Because of this, the only way I could possibly discuss who would win would be to put them in hand-to-hand combat, and if this is the case, then Zeno Goku takes this. Zeno Goku is obviously one of the best hand-to-hand combatants in fiction, and stack this on top of his adaptations and his Super Saiyan transformations, and he could definitely take the win in this matchup. Although it is important to note that since Featherine is omnipotent, she would have knowledge of all martial arts and hand-to-hand combat in Yumi Neko, although she would be at an arguable basic level with them since we don't actually see her use them. But you could argue that with her adaptation and evolution that she could grow to an insane degree to win. If you believe Goku wins, then he'd be the better hand-to-hand combatant, and his adaptation is much greater than Featherine's. And he also has the Key Sword, which can negate regeneration and immortality. But if you believe that Featherine wins, then you could argue her using her principal manipulation to make Goku no longer a Saiyan, or could argue her using her truths on him to erase his entire concept.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like she could just erase his very existence and be like, oh, what am I again? Oh, never mind, I'm dead. So yeah, that is pretty broken. And because another problem that Dragon Ball has is the lack of like actual hacks presentation, because like there are other franchises like say Naruto, Bleach, or even Jujutsu Kaisen, or other franchises that heavily prioritizes hacks or abilities rather than just raw martial arts. Not to say Dragon Ball doesn't have nice showings of hexes is just that, unlike, say, this series or even other series like Fate or Shin Megami Tensei, that very prioritizes hexes, Goku is not really given that much benefit to the doubt when it comes to that. So I definitely say, from what I can tell, Featherine has more hacks in her favor, or hacks knowledge, and on a crazy level that Goku may have experience with, but not have any form of resistance or counteraction to it.
Which, as I said, no form of defense can be used to counter against it. Even her narrative manipulation could also work against him. Or you could use some of Zeno Goku's hacks and abilities from the arcade, like Shinryu's Hero's Wish, or the Super Freeze attack, or even Miracle Perfect. Any of those could actually do Featherine in if he's able to somehow get those off. This battle is extremely close and can go so many different ways, but if you were to ask me who would win between these two in an all-out fight, I'd have to go with Featherine, and I hope I was able to prove that. If you know anyone who debates this topic or these characters, then please send them this video, as I'm sure they will have lots to say about it, or they might even enjoy it. Thank you all for watching, and please don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and comment if you enjoyed the video and would like to see more. I have my DBS Goku versus Featherine and my previous video on screen right now if you would like to check those out. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.
Yeah, I think another thing to include is because even if we were to say Goku is irrelevant speed, if her existence is just omniscient and omnipresent across all dimensions, then Goku would also struggle to quote-unquote destroy her true form. So maybe in her truest avatar form that makes it easier, but if she is literally omnipresent, then she would indeed have all like the speed advantage, and Goku would just not be able to bypass even with his impressive precognition ability. But yeah, otherwise that's an amazing video. I definitely learned a lot for Featherine. I have heard of her and her broken scaling, but I don't actually know that much about the series itself. But that was indeed a very fun video. So yeah, I'm gonna put back the video. I'm gonna drop this out. There you go. Awesome. But yeah, definitely go check that out. Give support to the boy Captain. And let me go back and see what I missed from you guys. All I know about Featherine is that she has a lot of plot and conceptual manipulation. I think maybe to add a bit of credence to Goku, if Goku technically rivals Toriyama, who even Arale had a bit of plot manipulation or plot resistance, that could be able to give him a chance to like bypass Featherine's plot manipulation, but that's hard to say. Because even now with the newest arc, the Meteor mission, Zeno Goku does not have... Zeno Goku is still growing, and the fact that, you know, all the other characters like MUI Goku clearly surpasses him previously, then that naturally would give him a slight disadvantage, since he's not obviously, you know, undefeatable. Where did I just stop? They wasted potential character. Oh yeah, I brought that up. I hope we see EUE evolution. That would be pretty interesting. The Dead Zone, now he brought that up. Hope Daima explains the demon world more. What's up, Isaac? Bell? Yeah, hopefully Daima does something. DC and Marvel does too. Oh, yeah. The Dead Zone, the dimension that Broly and Gogeta fought, and many more. Oh, yeah, the weird purple dimension. People who affect the scrolls should have plot manipulation. Not really, because they're not manipulating, like, the very events, like the causality, so that's kind of, I mean, could they, or should have they done it, maybe, but... What if Cell Juniors absorb Garlic Junior's cells? Would that give them access to the Dead Zone? Hard to say. Probably. More than likely, because it's not really stated that it's a Garlic Junior only ability, so it's possible that they can, through his memories or his own cells, he can find a way to figure it out. Especially when they can already distort reality just from shouting and stuff, so that's possible. But the time was just limited. Yeah. Crack of Time stated to be a super dimension as well. Really? I'm sure in a promo source there it does, but from the games themselves, I don't recall. Imagine time travel was possible in real life. Oh gosh, I hope not. Real world after real world after real world. Yeah, that's basically how it is. Also stated to be extra dimensional. I believe so. Cooler's outer. You're spitting, Rogue. You're definitely spitting right there. Was Bojack sealed inside King Kai's planet itself, or was it a seal that King Kai's planet contributed to along with the other Kais? Yeah, that's a miss. Oh snap, Junior, what's up? And that super fat dono, thank you very much. I'll get to that in a bit. Yeah, that's a misconception. Bojack was not. Well, okay. Maybe you can argue it was, but from the wording King Kai stated, Bojack was sealed in a planet. I believe there was some sources that claim it was actually King Kai's planet, but the main thing was that because King Kai died, that loosened or weakened the seal onto Bojack and therefore allowed him to escape. It was never really specifically stated that he was actually sealed in King Kai's planet, because he just says that he was sealed away in a faraway planet or star, but it doesn't make sense. Because what I want to know is how the heck did Bojack, if he was sealed in King Kai's planet, which keep in mind his planet is in the other world, how did Bojack's being released somehow made him be free within the other world, but then somehow have him travel to the real living universe? That's where I don't get. So it's very much it's pretty much leading to the direction that he was just sealed in a planet or star within the living universe, and that it was King Kai's life force that broke it. It's kind of like with Beerus and Supreme Kai. You know, destroying the realm of Kais is not gonna kill Beerus. It's specifically killing Shin that would, you know, undo or would affect the seal or the chain connection with Beerus. What does super dimensional even mean? There's no scientific basis on it. At best, it should just mean extra spatial dimension if it's referring to spatial dimensions. That's true, but it's a case-by-case scenario. A lot of franchises use those vague terms just to imply it's not a realm or reality that is connected to our normal reality. So that's why it's sort of like saying a room. It's like in a house there are two rooms. My room is quote-unquote the living universe, and then me opening a portal into the next room next to my room is just a room that I cannot normally get into. So that's why it's not some like, oh, there's some out-of-versal construct. No, it's just a reality that we literally do not have access to by physical means, unless there's some special way to get through. But yeah, some series do just imply just another random reality that just so happens to exist. But there are stories that do emphasize that is a realm beyond time, space, dimensions, etc. But again, it's a case-by-case scenario. Keep talking. Super Saiyan 4 versus Blue. Nah, you ain't spitting with that. Yeah, you were just explaining it. Yeah, more like interaction with multiverse, explaining different possibilities. Is that what you mean? Yeah. I never seen why that means. Like, there's explanation. Super dimensional is above all. No. Yeah. Super dimensional can just mean above our regular time, or it can just be some dimension not normal to 4D space-time, but it doesn't have to by default mean, you know, out-of-versal and stuff. So the thing that stumps me is that they gave these reasons for versions of Goku all descaling, but they still say they're nowhere near any Beerus level. Beerus is just cracked. So that's all I can say. Like, Beerus is really OP for some reason. Aligning with higher dimensional concepts as choice translated besides super can mean hyper ultra. Yeah. And again, it's just like when you think about using those terms, like, what does that even mean? It just means it's a world that we don't know, you know. So yeah, I first heard that the term Sonic 06 in regards to Solaris, whereas yeah, Key Sword can negate not every ability supposedly, because it was kind of like slapped away at one time, but that's alright. Trunks confirmed cards being canon. Oh, right. Yeah, no, that doesn't mean. It can mean it's above, like, the inferior levels to it, but not, you know, just in general all concepts of space and time, whatever. From how little I know about it, yeah. Funny, Dragon Ball Heroes, you can use any card's abilities in game, but I'm not sure, though. Yeah. And cool stuff like, yeah. Wait, where did it go? A meta narrative manipulation? Yep. Like Dragon Ball's verse is strong, but I'm not sure that they have any counter to meta and plot manipulation outside of just getting stronger. Yeah. As I brought up. But Arale, though, yeah. I know people would try and argue Arale is plot manipulation. Yeah, to an extent. How is Goku going from out muscle Featherine and going to... Oh, and Goku died and Chi-Chi remembered Piccolo. Bruh. It's God tier, yeah. Maybe not the best example in all of fiction, but she is pretty up there. Featherine looks like she can do a lot of stuff, manipulate concepts itself. Deviverse doesn't really have hacks on this level. Even then, all of their hacks have the weakness of being out-muscled. Yeah. You can argue Zeno affects concepts like Fusamasu, being the concept of justice and order. Yeah, I've heard of that before, but even then, it's like, well, Feathering being that could just not make it that impressive, so whatever. And also, World of Voice Stats have no concept of space, so that, yeah. Goku's not restricted by dimension. Yep. Long time no see. Yep. Oh, yeah, what's up, Cowboy? Sorry, I didn't give you a shout out. Imagine, what's up, Stride? Imagine just the proper showcase of an official animated battle between Zeno Goku and Featherine. Yeah, that'd be, man, the budget would go crazy. Most fiction world overpower hacks with strength as well, so it's not really a weakness. Yeah, certain franchises do. Others just say no, you can't bypass it through muscle alone. Imagine Arcade, Goku, and SCP. Yeah, I mean, like maxed interpretation, he would definitely go up really high up there, but he would slap like the just fodder street wall level characters. I think Demigo would be a better matchup with Featherine than Zeno Goku, especially with Demigo hacks like Time Powers, Dark Factor, and many more. Maybe. Yeah, let me do this quick before I forget. Again, shout out to the boy. There you go. Thank you once again to the boy for that fat 20. I'm dropping by to say hi and have a good stream. Thanks again, once again, Junior. Yeah. What's a matchup you think goes back and forth a lot? Buon versus Boo. I know that's one. Super in general versus GT is another. And if not DBZ related, I know Sakuna versus Gojo is another. Goku versus Superman is another. Superman versus Thor, I believe. There's quite a few back and forths here and there. Is Baby's position an example of a hacks you can't outmuscle because it's manipulation of biology, not willpower? Yes, to an extent. Because I think Vegito might have been a better example, but Baby was more direct with his method, or more specific with his method, so yeah. Or another example is like Ginyu's body swap, where even I actually researched this recently, but apparently in the Breakers, Trunks once again caught an L and somehow still got his body swap with Ginyu before he got it back. But despite Zeno Goku, Trunks' level, he still cannot, you know, reflect or counter that ability. So yeah, of use of manga or anime, yeah. Oh yeah, speaking of which, speaking of back and forth, if you haven't noticed the on screen, so the last stream, the boy Maku made this huge comment And I just thought, you know what? Let me give him my support and just heart thing. I just thought, why not? Sure. Let's just add it right there. So I thought I'd bring it up. Why not? Because in case people think I'm just cucking or I'm ducking, then there it is. Yeah, because he was basically responding to all my arguments, debunking what was it, Drip's video with Goku versus GT Goku regarding the whole canonicity of GT and the movies, and he had issues with my takes, and yeah, that's the result of me talking in that live reaction. Yeah. Okay. So so let me, as a being charitable and nice and courteous, I'll respond to his comments. So the first, I guess, claim or criticism is like, who am I to say that they are just cameos? Well, yeah, I'm not sure if that's an argument or that's like a claim, but yeah, they are just cameos. Like, if you Google the term cameo, it literally says on the Oxford, the first suggestion of the definition, a small character part in a play, or a small character part in a play or movie placed by a distinguished actor or celebrity. Like, yeah, a short description that neatly encapsulates someone or something. Like, I'm not sure what more can be said. Yeah. A small theatrical role usually performed by a well-known actor and often limited to a single scene. Like, I don't know what... I'm not sure what kind of issue with that is, but yeah, that's pretty much what a cameo is. So, like, oops, I accidentally exited out the... accidentally exited out the music. I can put another background music. Let's go with video games. Sure, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, so he was basically like a bit critical about me saying that, oh, like the Fusion Reborn, you know, the cameos with Paragus, Raccoon, Bojack, and me saying like, oh no, those aren't proof that it's canon to those movies. And yet he says, who am I to say that they're cameos? I'm like, yeah, they are cameos. They barely appear for a few frames. And they don't say anything, they don't even interact with Gohan, so yes, it's a cameo. I don't know what's the confusion with that. Second of all, saying that they only acknowledge those two films as headcanon is false, because they can also acknowledge other films to happen and say that, well, they have contradictions, that means they cannot be canon, is ridiculous, because you accept the Cooler Revenge as canon, and it's blatantly contradiction of Goku turns Super Saiyan, blah blah blah. They can do it, blah blah blah, just that yes, they have contradictions, but not to think about it. So basically his issue with it is because I was saying that, because I was giving the benefit of the doubt. I already said that, okay, people want to believe the movies are canon to GT. So then I said, okay, no, if the fact that all of them has contradictions, then they can't be canon. So, but if I were to be generous and say which movies could be canon, I then said, well, the ones that could be canon is Garlic Jr., i.e. Dead Zone, and Cooler's Revenge. And then I explained why. Dead Zone because there was the filler arc, and maybe because of the, what was it, the Sacred Water, the Holy Water being in GT. Now granted, the whole Dead Zone filler arc didn't have to happen just for that Holy Water to exist for GT. But you could imply that it's like a correlation to that. And then I did say that the reason why I allowed Cooler was because Daizenshuu 7 allowed it to be in its timeline, but none of the other films. And then we did see that cameo of Cooler in GT. So that's why I said that if I was being generous, those could be canon because the guidebooks allowed it to be in the timeline. But that's when I said that even I can admit, yes, my own logic is still contradictory. Why? Because even the Daizenshuu itself is questioning its own logic. Multiple times. Multiple times. Let me get the thing so I can read the comment a little clearer. Yeah, so and then people, for some reason, like, it's not just him. Maku is not the first one to say this, but even other people in my other videos comment how, oh, just don't worry about it. Don't think about the contradictions. That's an appeal. That's just an appeal at that point. That's just a confirmation bias. Because you're saying, oh, well, because I use that as a source, as a claim, but that's not a debunk. That's just, that I'm just like, that's not proving my point is wrong. That just means that you don't have a way to counteract it at that point. And another thing is that in Drip's video, or I don't think it was Drip, maybe it was somebody else, I can't remember, but they said that, oh, well, you know, it's not a contradiction, it's just a human error, so it doesn't count. But that's wrong, because Koyama multiple times in his tweets says that when we were making these movies, we didn't know what's going to happen in future manga chapters. And he even says that we had to write around those issues. And if you want a better example, I can even put it on screen right now. I don't know if this is copyrighted. I don't know if that was copyrighted or not, so I'm gonna just move into something else. I can even get the... Galaxy? Yes. Here it is. I can show it on screen right now. In fact, I don't need to screenshot it. So right here, oops. Right here. And the opening scene for Broly Movie 8 was not written in a scenario. It was changed at the storyboard stage. I'm sure the narration was meant to emphasize Broly's brutality, but it was unnecessary for the Broly arc I wanted to write. This vague narration sparked a pointless controversy, and in that sense, it was unnecessary. So, in terms of the point I'm trying to make, Koyama wrote the scenario, the script, but after the fact, the staff still made the creative decision to be like, okay, we have Koyama's script, now what do we want to show for this movie? And keep in mind, we're talking about like a lot of frames, a lot of shots, and the staff still said, yes, we're gonna add this shot of Broly destroying a galaxy. Whether it's South Galaxy or whatever, it doesn't matter. The point I want to make is that they made a creative decision to put this scene in and make it into the finalized cut of the theatrical release. They could have just removed it blatantly. Koyama could have even just said, you know what, no, this is not necessary, get that out of it. Because remember in, even in Super Broly, we found out that there was like, the movie, the original script for Toriyama's vision for Super Broly was going to be 3 hours long. And they had to drop it down to like an hour and a half or whatever. That's a creative decision. And another example is how there was the storyboard release where when MUI Goku briefly showed up, in the original storyboard, there was no mention of the dialogue or the little text description of the storyboard of Goku going MUI. It was just Goku powering up. But the storyboard artist still made the creative decision to show MUI Goku. So that's not a human error. That's just a clear creative intention to include something into the theatrical cut that had to be finalized by everybody, or by at least the main director, producer, whatever. So that's why I don't like when people say, oh, well, he just says to ignore the contradictions, or, oh, well, it's just a human error. No. Koyama multiple times is like, yeah, we had to write around things. We had to write ahead of the manga. And we made a creative decision to do these things that may or may not contradict the movies. So, like an example, obviously Gohan not being Super Saiyan or in his teen form and Return to Cooler is a creative decision. Is it technically an error continuity-wise? Yes. But it's nonetheless a creative decision to be like, yeah, let's just have Kid Gohan in his kid form rather than his teen form, because we don't know where Toriyama's going to put the story for him in terms of development. If you want a better human error, remember when Goku had his Super Saiyan 2 blue form, his hairstyle, you know, remember that? Remember that? That's, I can definitely say it's a human error. But if it was like, oh yeah, he now achieves Super Saiyan Blue 2, then that wouldn't be a human error. That would be a creative decision. Yeah. Yeah, y'all remember this? Yeah, remember that? Oh, dang it. Yeah, remember this one? Yeah, remember how, for like a few moments, for some reason, the staff gave Goku's blue hair form the Super Saiyan 2 look? That I can definitely say is a good example of human error. But the literal plot itself, Gohan being young and inaccurate to his actual age during that time period, that's not a human error. That's a creative decision right there. So, no. I hope I get the point across, but yeah, I just don't like when people say, oh, well, Toriyama says ignore the contradictions. No, he didn't say... He more so is apologizing that there might be some conflictions with the original manga, but he's pretty blatant that, yeah. In fact, I can even get the other one in. There was another tweet. Hold on, let me get it in. Was it this one? No, I think it's this one. I think it was this one. No, not this one. I think it was this one. Maybe it was this one. Which one was it? I'm trying to find the one I'm trying to specifically show you guys. Maybe it was gosh dang it. I know there was one specific quote I want to show you guys specifically, because he did actually bring up something that I love. Because it is something I even bring up in my own videos that people, for some reason, kind of forget I say. I know I had it. I swear to gosh, if I did not bookmark it. Oh, finally, I found it. All right, here, okay. I finally found it. All right. So let me get it up. So here's what I mean. Right here, I can even zoom in a little closer for you guys to read. So he was responding to somebody, and he was basically saying, again, it's translated. I know it's Google translation, but it's still often accurate. In my case, I had close meetings with the original author through the editor. and made the changes only after getting his or her consent. It was difficult to serialize the original manga and produce the anime version at the same time. There were times when things didn't work out, but that can't be helped. So that's exactly what I mean. When people say, oh, well, it's just a human error, or it's just a contradiction, but ignore it. No, he's very clear that he's saying that, hey, because of these production and continuity issues, we had no choice but to work around them and make a finalized product regardless of the contradictions. So, yes, there are times they will make errors. I'm not saying they never have. But from a writing standpoint, they are very blatant with their intentions. Or they are very direct with not having any hidden agendas. Like, Koyama did not write Broly destroying a galaxy, apparently. So when people have issues with that scene, do not blame Koyama. He was like, no, that was the storyboard. That was the animator's staff that did that. So likewise, if you guys seen my Android 21 video, the producer, I forgot her name, Hitomi, she even said that when writing and developing the character for 21, she had meetings with Shueisha, Bandai, Toei, and I believe Toriyama to finalize the design of her character and even the overall story. Because she even said how she wanted the story to feel like it's a arc that would fit the world of Dragon Ball. So Koyama is also emphasizing that point that yes, there will be contradictions, but nonetheless they are making this a actual product that is being finalized and overlooked by multiple staff members, not just Koyama. And the fact that people say that, oh, Toriyama only did the designs, but then here's Koyama saying, well, no, I had to make sure whatever scenarios I was writing down, he was allowed and accepted any ideas by his editor or Toriyama. Same way Toyotaro, when he was doing the manga drafts and stuff, or even including things like Vegito Blue for the Zamasu arc, he was also being evaluated by Toriyama. And my phone is ringing, apparently. Where the frick did I put my phone? I have no idea where to put my phone. What the frick? Where the heck did I leave my phone at? Huh. I can't find my phone. Whatever. Anyways, so I feel like I made my point across regarding that argument, because people just, I don't know why people think that ignoring my claim or my evidence is proof that it's been debunked. Like, no, that's just you kind of ignoring that point rather than actual like debunking that point. It's kind of like with flat earthers. It's sort of like, oh, well, prove that science is right. And it's like, okay, well, here's all the data. Here's all the experiments. Here's all the sources you need for you to recreate them. Here's photos. And then this guy, the flat earther, is like, oh, well, those are human errors, or actually no, I don't believe in science. And it's like, well, that's not really you debunking my evidence. That's just you appealing to incredulity. That's literally just you not agreeing with what goes against your beliefs, so therefore it's just wrong. Like, that's not an actual counter argument. That's why I'm just like, I don't get it. But yeah. I still have no idea where the heck my phone go. What the heck? And then what was the other thing he brought up? On top of that, if you want to use logic of saying that only 2 movies were acknowledged, even though that's blatantly false, which, yeah, I agree. It's literally stated Fusion Reborn happens in the middle of the Buu saga. Which I have no idea where the heck was that stated. When was Fusion Reborn? Do you guys remember? Do you guys know when the Buu saga specifically references the Fusion Reborn events? When? When was that stated? I think what he wanted to bring up was when Goku said to Janemba, you're the second guy that made me use Super Saiyan 3. The other one being Majin Buu. I think that's what he meant. But I literally said in all my videos that just because similar events may have played out does not mean feats were played out. The same way DBZ Kakarot can recreate the Z era does not mean it's canon to the actual story of Dragon Ball. Or like the Super continuity. Like, yes, the Super manga plays out similar events to the Super anime, but they both had their own different scaling. So just because Goku brought up Majin Buu, we literally cannot prove which Majin Buu he's talking about. Did he mean Majin Buu as in Fat Buu? Did he mean Majin Buu as in Fat Super Buu? Did he mean Majin Buu as in Kid Buu? Because they don't even refer Kid Buu as Kid Buu. They just refer to him as Buu or Majin Buu. So which Buu is he talking about? Yeah. None of them, but you didn't. Okay, so what movies does acknowledge as non-canon besides the 2 movies that you brought up far as movie 3 and movie 13, but none of them, but you didn't say that because you want to be disingenuous. First of all, I like how he's trying to kind of attack me when I'm just like, bro, I'm just here. I'm just here, bro. Like, I'm just making my own claims. You don't have to be so rude about it. And that's not what happened, GT, by the way, since you obviously didn't watch it in Japanese. I actually did. Just like you never read the timeline. Actually, I did. But you didn't listen to my entire spiel. There are gods that rule over space. Yes, I'm aware. And that rip apart the space that I did brought up. And Goku and Tsunuki were in a void of nothingness, which is what he blows up. Which, keep in mind, did you remember, guys, that Buuhan can also do that within the time chamber? Or Gotenks, or even Buuhan that Vegito out-countered. And also, being in a realm that has no time does not default to out-reversal. That can just be a realm that literally has no 4D time. Because people forget that every higher dimension has its own higher existence of time, basically. Just like how 4D time is inferior to 5D time, basically. The whole super dimension type of thing I brought up. Oh, there's my phone. Jesus. It was underneath my lap. I'm so stupid. Yeah, so, again, no disrespect to Maku. I can finally get rid of that comment. I will say, props to him, you know, actually having, you know, actually being open to discuss, oops, wrong one. Being vocal about it, which I don't mind. Again, you guys can keep up, you guys can have the freedom to comment. It's just that I am also open for discussion. I'm not gonna say everything I say I agree with. And that was the whole point. The whole spiel I brought up was A, to correlate to, you know, the video, but also because most of the argument is allowing the fact that, okay, if the movies were canon, which can be canon to GT's continuity? That was the whole point I was trying to make. I know that the Daizenshuu claims that Dead Zone and Cooler's Revenge are canon, but I also can tell myself that, yeah, even I find that doubtful, because I even brought up the contradictions in those movies. Hence why I was being, you know, I was being a bit direct about it. Daizenshuu 1 says it happens before Raditz, but then there's contradictions in the movies. Koyama and Toriyama saying they're multiverse theory, so they could have in its own reality. Movie 2 says it's inconsistent to the anime. Movie 3 says it's a movie event only. Movie 4, that is canon to movie 3, would therefore make it movie canon only. and plus contradicts the whole, you know, Frieza and then Super Saiyan, Kaioken times 100 thing. Movie 5, also kind of contradictory. That's what I'm saying, is like, I am open to discuss with people about it, but there's just way too many contradictions and way too much evidence to prove. I feel like there's way too much evidence to allow it be its own realities rather than force it to be part of GT. And if people have a better like argumentation for it, then I'm open to hear it, but a majority of the evidence is going to that side. That's why I just don't get it. Because I don't want to be disingenuous. What if I said, oh, well, Hero's Goku, his name is Goku, so therefore Goku from Super is outerversal because they're both named the same character, so therefore Super Goku is also outerversal and no diffs Zeno Goku. Like, no, even I would be like, no, that's disingenuous. That's terrible logic. They're two different Gokus. Or, likewise, it's like, yeah, it's like, you know, with the outerversal scaling, it's like, oh, well, you know, all these statements says he's transcendent, he's immeasurable, blah, 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 so therefore Goku's soul is all a fiction. But then it's like, well, you do know that some of these guidebooks are inaccurate, these promo sources are just to hype up a product, there are other fictional characters that have much more blatant and better scaling. That's why I'm just like, well, you know, maybe it's just better to be more open-minded to these things. That's why, because even I can acknowledge that, yeah, when you do take those statements, you know, at the higher interpretation, then yeah, sure, there is some weird weird scaling to prove Goku's outerversal, but, you know, there's definitely room to say maybe Goku's not actually outerversal, but it just depends. So yeah. Let me finally get back to the chat. Sorry about that. I always have a huge spiel to talk about. Let's see, where did I stop at? Also, God Fusion Goku is also canon. Yeah, I'm aware. Crystals on blue can be applied to every form. Yeah, every form including blue has power creep. Yeah. Super Saiyan, power creep, bad if not worse than blue. Blue actually lasted a while and super, yeah. Black Arc gets TOP when it started to struggle. Yeah. What's a verse you want to scale, but there's so much to talk about. More, I mean, I already talked about video game franchises, Shin Megami Tensei, Fairy Tail and stuff, so there's plenty. Not many people even talk about them. Maybe they talk about like the products coming up or the story summaries, but not from a power scaling perspective, so that'll be pretty fun for me to do eventually. Do you think PJ asked, do you think Beerus' character has a problem with moving the goalposts? No matter what, they constantly that they're nowhere near Beerus' power. It's more so from the manga. The anime is kind of there, so it's definitely from a manga. It's a manga issue only at the moment. I definitely agree that it's not really good. I feel like it's kind of annoying at this point, but whatever. What movies would fit in the main timeline with minimal changes? The only ones I can really think of is let's see. Okay, from the top again. Movie 1, the only real issue is just maybe the cast knowing Gohan, maybe by his name. They didn't actually see him except for Krillin, but that's pretty much it. And the whole Dragon Ball Wish can just be done within the 4-year gap, because there was a 5-year gap from King Piccolo arc to Raditz arrival, so it could just be, you know, be a year before Raditz arrives and stuff, or even when he does arrive, because they still had a year for Goku to train and then have them use the Dragon Balls again, so not too much of an issue there. Not World's Strongest because Piccolo is alive and Gohan and the buddies are not on Namek. Definitely not movie 3 because again Piccolo and Cass are alive. Namek, Frieza's supposedly still alive. Same for Lord Slug. Piccolo's still alive. Goku doesn't know Super Saiyan but can sort of channel it. Movie 5, Gohan has a tail. Icarus is still there, which was a movie 3 introduced character who is movie only. And then Goku for some reason struggling with Super Saiyan for some reason. Movie 6, for some reason, it takes place in Cell games according to Daizenshu, but Gohan is still young. There's no Trunks. The Goku and Vegeta never show any higher grade forms of Super Saiyan. So that's kind of weird. Movie 7, it was clearly stated to be a parallel Earth. We don't know where the heck the androids are. We don't know if Cell is alive or even showed up. Where's Jiro? Why are they shopping and stuff? They clearly didn't have their time chamber training buffs, so when the heck was that supposed to happen, despite all the, you know, action going on? Broly was stated to take place during the Cell games, but then the guidebook itself questions why they're having a picnic, so even they find it doubtful it's during the Cell games. What else? Bojack could happen. The only real contradiction is the Goku and King Kai being in Snake Way with their little house, because the anime specifically does show them. Because the anime, we did see King Kai complete the house, but then Goku breaks it, and then they just immediately walk across the Snake Way and head to, you know, the other world or Grand Kai's planet. So that's the only minor in contradiction, but that can be canon, I guess. But we also don't know what's the length of time since the Cell games. It could have been a month, a few days. We don't know. Not movie 10, because Gohan did train, apparently, according to his own statement in the Japanese version. Plus, apparently, the kids used the balls to summon Goku's soul. But then if it's right, like, if it's a few days before the tournament begins, then that kind of makes it impossible for them to use the Dragon Balls afterward. So that's kind of weird. Likewise, movie 11, or sorry, yeah, what's that, movie 11? Yeah, it was movie 11. Yeah, Broly can't happen because, again, if Goku's back on Otherworld, he should have trained the kids the fusion dance, but they don't use it. Where the heck is Gohan? Is Majin Vegeta dead? Where the heck is Piccolo? Where the heck is, you know, what's going on? Where's Boo? Is he still alive? Is he dead? Has he not shown up yet? Yeah, it's just weird. Movie 12, likewise. If it happens before Boo, then how the heck does Gohan has his mystic form powers, supposedly? And plus, if it was before Boo, how does the kids know fusion dance? If it was during the Boo event, where the heck is Majin Buu? Why the heck is Gohan still on Earth? Wouldn't he technically be in the world of Kai's? Why the heck is Hercule dealing with a bunch of zombies? Wouldn't he technically be focused on Majin Buu at the moment? How the heck are the Dragon Balls functional if you know because keep in mind, Bulma resurrected the people Majin Vegeta killed. So Goku had to say, hey, Shenron, we don't want the 2 wishes, and Dende, I believe, said that they have to wait 6 months until they can be used again. So how the heck are the Dragon Balls used again in Fusion Reborn? Plus, apparently, Videl hasn't seen Shenron before, even though when they did summon it for that 1 wish, Videl clearly saw it. So, and plus, Vegeta's dead, so he has to be after he self-destructed from Majin Buu, which makes sense since Goku brought up Majin Buu. But then he's still dead, so if it's after Kid Buu, then he should be alive thanks to Purunga, but he's clearly not. So it might be a weird alternative story where Gohan actually defeated Super Buu, or the kids defeated Super Buu. We literally don't know. It's way too many contradictions. And then not to mention the whole Fusion Reborn cameos, which doesn't make sense either, because again, they're all non-canon, or they're all contradictory to each other. Because, like, again, if the Cell games never happened with movie A Broly, then how the heck then did Paragus show up for that event, yet not have Trunks or Gohan defeat Cell? But then again, if it didn't happen, how the heck is Bojack there? Because he would have had to have made Cell to appear, so it doesn't make sense on that perspective either. I think there was some of Turles Men, which was also movie event only. So that's also kind of weird. And then I already brought up Wrath of the Dragon. What was it? It can happen after Boo, but the problem is that apparently his Brave Sword is the sword that Trunks gets. Yeah, we don't see it at all in GT. Like, not a single time. We see Trunks using a sword in the opening, but the opening doesn't matter. Nothing that is relevant in the opening appears in the actual anime episodes. But yeah, no mention of the Brave Sword or Tapion. Also, Tapion uses a time machine, meaning he would technically create another timeline where he prevents his planet from being destroyed by Hirudegarn. But then that would also make that timeline not have him meet that other version's Z fighters. So that just makes its own parallel universe at that point. Yeah, and also I'm surprised, now that I think about it, where the heck is Boo in that movie? I forgot. I'm surprised they don't have Boo appear in that movie. I'm actually curious. That's not a issue and timeline wise. That's just me now thinking about it. But yeah, because multiple times they do reference the Brave Sword and some guide sources as the sword Future Trunks gets, but then it's not shown afterward in GT. And then I'd like to know how the heck can anyone justify Future Trunks somehow getting the Brave Sword by Tapion, but then still have the Z Fighter still die to the androids, and then have the rest of the events play out. That's just kind of weird. That would imply, like, that would mean that somehow after the defeat of Mecha Frieza, Tapion appeared, and the Z Fighters from a weaker era somehow defeated Hirudegarn. Tapion gave Future Trunks his sword, but then after that event, the heroes died, and then the whole future history saga happens. It's so weird. It does not make any sense whatsoever. And then I guess technically including Battle of Gods, because I am aware the Toriyama exhibition showed a whole timeline and it included Battle of Gods. But then the problem is like, well, it's labeled as Dragon Ball Z, but then there's also the Dragon Ball Super recreations of the same arc, anime and manga. Probably worse if you include the Xenoverse recreation, the Kakarot recreation. So it's like, because people say, oh, well, the movie version is no longer the canon version, but then it's like, well, if everything is canon within the franchise, then which is more canon? The movie version, the anime version, the game version? So trying to assume that the movie version had to be the more primary canon of GT is also kind of proving my point that not all the movies kind of correlate into one singular timeline. I know there was that point people wanted to make about the whole, like, timeline. I think Shozenshu, not just Toriyama's exhibition, but I think the Shozenshu includes the Battle of Gods movie into its timeline, if I recall correctly. And in fact, I forgot, the Shozenshu is the updated version of the Daizenshu, and the Shozenshu still includes the Garlic Jr. movie and Cooler movie. And then the Battle of Gods movie. So now obviously the Shozenshu came out before the Super anime started and stuff, but that's why it's like that's why I'm saying, like, the whole need to make the movies canon to GT when GT was not considering Battle of Gods to ever exist, Super to exist. It makes the whole need to make all of them canon into GT convoluted. Yeah, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, Goku went through the events of Dragon because he used the Dragon Fist. Totally all the proof we need, yeah. Yeah, guys, remember, or even that logic, it's like, oh, because a technique was used, that means it's canon. Okay, then remember every anime franchise you can think of that has used the Kamehameha more so as a spoof? Like, remember, what's it called? Blood Lad? Remember, this? I won't have the audio, but like, remember this from Blood Lad? bro literally just copied Goku's Kamehameha. He didn't actually, you know, send out the attack, but bro legit just used the technique. So does that mean by association him using the Kamehameha means he's equally as strong as anime Goku? No, it could just be a nice Easter egg reference. That's all it needs to be. Like, bruh, he literally is using it. That's what I'm saying. I don't like that whole technique argumentation. It's like, oh, well, it appeared, so it must be canon. It's like, no. It's just a technique. What, in real life, me recreating the fusion dance means I'm... me fusing with someone can make me stronger than Gogeta? Like, no, that's just bad argumentation. I don't know. Again, the guidebooks pretty much just says that the reason why Goku obtained that technique is just from training secretly. So, Goku from GT having 15 years total after the defeat of Buu, Kid Buu. I feel like 15 years is totally enough time to show him his growth, and giving him a new technique that just so happens to appear in the movies is not that difficult to justify. I feel like that makes more sense in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, but yeah, Fusion Reborn, no. I don't know why people think that Fusion Reborn would have the less amount of changes needed to be canon to Z, because there's way too many things you need to fix. You need to somehow explain that Gotenks can, or they can go into Gotenks, even though that would mean that they did fight Buu, but then Gohan would also be alive afterward, but then Buu is dead, which would make Oob not able to exist, which contradicts Majub and, you know, baby thing. You know, if you take the cameos like a serious proof, then I don't know how the heck you would have to prove all the movies are then canon afterward. So that's just weird. Rather, Dragon could fit in the main timeline with minimal changes. Yeah. Goku got that Vegeta hairline. He's most likely referencing Goku to... Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, which Buu? We're talking about Fat Buu, Evil Buu, Super Buu, Buuhan. Like, which Buu? The Buu from Super, you know? It gets weird afterward. About canon and drip. Yeah. Drips. Yeah, I already brought it up. I already talked about it. I'm not mad at you at all. Fair is fair. Yeah. I don't believe in our Goku at all. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's perfectly fine. What I'm referencing is to stay the void of nothing, which is... Oh, yeah, that thing. Yeah. I understand. I do remember some people brought that up. The void of... Oh, wait. Sorry. I was thinking of the World of Void from Super. That's my bad. Yeah, the void of nothing. Yeah. Because... I agree. Don't get me wrong. I 100% understand what you're getting at. I have seen... I am gonna re-watch it more with proper clarity. You know, not... I don't want to be like, oh, it's clear. I'm gonna find proof. It's only wall level. Like, no, I am gonna be, you know, critical with how it's interpreted. But yeah, because there are people that do believe that, oh well, a place that has no concept of time or space is therefore outerversal. But then you can just imply that it doesn't default to outerversal. Like, if you want a good example, it's like the time chambers. Like, oh, it has its own flow of time. Does that mean that place is universal? No, because Goku did say that it's only planet in size. That just so happens to have its own flow of time. And so destroying it is impressive. Don't get me wrong. But to say that, oh, well, because it had its own flow of time makes anyone destroying that thing universal. No, it could just be planet level, but of a higher scale, obviously. If you want another... I'm trying to think of a good example of a quote-unquote world of void in fiction. Or, yeah, even like a Dead Zone. Like, it's supposedly stated to be a void, like an empty world, a dark world of abyss, whatever the guidebooks say. Well, in the filler arc, just because of a Macchio amp, Garlic Jr. somehow, he broke out of a super dimension, black hole, realm, darkness, void, whatever term you want to say to define the Dead Zone. He somehow broke out of that from just a Macchio amp. That's it. He broke out of a super dimension void. So does that mean that maybe he's out of Versal because it's a void? No, maybe he just broke out of a black hole. Maybe he just broke out of a pocket dimension, if you don't agree with a super dimension, which is perfectly fine. But you get what I mean. It's like, it is impressive, but I don't think anybody is really going to try to prove Garlic Jr. is out of Versal because of that one feat. Yeah, and that's also why, even, not just power-wise, but even speed-wise. Just because you walk in a world of void does not make you irrelevant speed, you know? No, it can give you some level of time hacks abilities. Like, oh, because of your time abilities, you can still move. Or you can also just have inaccessible speed, where you can move in a void that has no time, so there's always those room for interpretation that maybe it doesn't, not everything needs to be out of Versal. Or not everything needs to be irrelevant speed or whatever stupid nonsense. But I will say, I definitely do think that people, it's not just one side. Both sides are definitely guilty for saying a lot of questionable things with scaling for GT and Super. There's a lot of people that overhype certain things with some of the statements in GT, but there's also a lot of things that people wrongly state regarding Super scaling. So they're definitely, people do look down upon GT and not give it the proper credit. But so does Super. Like, I mean, to this day, people still mock the fact that Super Goku, despite all his god training, got injured by a laser blast, got a scratch mark from a bullet. Like, bruh. It's like, you know, I can understand why people have their issues with its writing or feel like, nah, GT Goku slams because Super Goku obviously got hit by bullets. So GT Goku obviously slams that stupid feat. But it is what it is, obviously. Yeah, I'm personally not in the camp of always needing to justify out-of-versal scaling. But I can still acknowledge where people are coming from. I more so prefer to lean on the middle ground author intention scaling rather than the overhyped fan scaling, I guess. Because truthfully, if you argue from a certain perspective, anything can be out-of-versal or boundless, but that kind of, you know, sometimes goes against the author's intent, which is like, well, like, I feel like, which is more disingenuous, trying to go against the author's original intention that contradicts the overall story, or just trying to be fair with the middle ground scaling of a certain character. Like, come on now. And now that I think about the whole out-of-versal scaling, that's exactly why in all my videos I've posted till now, that's precisely why I am so, like, because I know people are mostly focused on the main topic, like the main material, whereas Super or, oh, sorry, Heroes being included is just like passing nice information, but not something that people really need to be, or feel the need to be hyper focused on. So that's understandable. But the reason why I bring that up is because I don't want to, Because imagine me having to talk about like 12 videos the same information. Like, oh yeah, because of Xenoscaling, Cooler is out of Versal. And then the next video, because of Xenoverse scaling, Bojack is out of Versal. And in the next video, because of that one brief Easter egg cameo where Android 21 appears in Kakarot and then correlates to Xenoverse, Android 21 is also out of Versal. It's like, it gets kind of repetitive and boring, and yeah, I feel like that is when I'll definitely be disingenuous. That I definitely am like, nah, I'm okay. I'd much rather just talk about the more nicer reform version than anything else. I know for a fact that in future videos I will bring up the higher end scaling, but specifically for the more general audience, they don't really need to have to know about that. And besides, to be fair, in the end of my conclusion summaries, I do bring up the outlier conclusion of Outer Versal, so And to be fair, I feel like that's better than nothing. Now that I think about it, because people are just like, oh, he's out of Versal just because. It's like, well, let me actually use the source to prove that it is possibly the case. Better than nothing. Maku, I personally don't agree with any Goku being out of and yeah, but I get it. Yeah, that's probably fine. Even I agree. I'm just like, I don't really agree, but whatever. I think if you want a kryptonite from me, probably 4D Goku is like the bane of my existence when it comes to outer Goku. Like, ugh. Every time people love to lean on 4D movie Goku, like, jeez, I try my best to explain it, but nah. People who are just adamant that 4D movie Goku is outer is like, yeah, I'm just wasting my time trying to have my own opinion on that matter. But what I was referencing with Janemba is the movie time chart, not Goku's statement. The movie time charts. I mean, I can even bring it up. Well, first let me get rid of all these tabs. Actually, yeah, why not? I can even show you guys. I can even show you, like, just live the Daizenshuu translated statements. If I can actually get the thing, of course. Do I really not have it with me? Huh. When Demigra destroyed the timelines in Xenoverse and Toki Toki reset everything, would that feat include Hero's cosmology? I want to say no. But let me first explain. I want to say no, but I'm not entirely sure, because in Heroes promo materials, they specifically call out how Xenoverse Trunks, from his, timeline, Xenoverse 1, 2, the Breakers, etc., comes into the world, or into the universe, I guess, the timeline of Heroes. So, because that technically implies that there are other time nests, so they're not just one, there's another multiverse, basically. So that basically implies that Dragon Ball Heroes, or just the franchise itself, has a megaverse. The reason why I use the term megaverse is because in Marvel, first there is a universe, and then when you have multiple universes, that's a multiverse. But in Marvel, there are multiple multiverses which is contained within a megaverse. So I'm not saying that it's Dragon Ball confirms that, but I like to use that term as an example, that it implies that there is a megaverse where it allows there to be a Xenoverse multiverse and a Heroes multiverse where Zeno Trunks can help the time patrollers of Dragon Ball Heroes. So I'm assuming, I like to say that he probably didn't destroy Heroes, but just his own multiverse specifically. Perhaps the closest character that did actually do that is Transcendent Demigra from Heroes, or from Ultimate Mission X, because he explicitly stated he was going to destroy all of Dragon Ball World and the real world, which is more impressive than what Xenoverse Demigra did. That's probably the better equivalent of that feat, but hard to say. Okay. I now got it up. I can even show it on stream, so why not? I can zoom in if necessary. Is that implied? Because I thought they just existed in different timelines. Well, you have to keep in mind, because I brought up in Xenoverse, for example, there is, you know, the Time Nest, the Time Scrolls multiverse. There is the Tokipedia multiverse, and then there's the Parallel Quest multiverse. And then beyond that, there's the Crack of Time, right? But then, the other problem is like, okay, well, what about World Mission? World Mission kind of contradicts a bit of what the heck happens in Xenoverse. But then Ultimate Mission X also contradicts what happens in World Mission. But then also all of Super Dragon Ball Heroes kind of contradicts certain things within those continuities, right? So that's why it gets a bit iffy. It's not to say that technically the usage of timelines can be applicable, but you can also just say it's a different timeline of a higher dimension. Again, that's why it gets so complicated when you really deep dive the whole lore of Heroes and Xenoverse. But anyways, as you guys can see, this is a what's it pronounced? Kazentai translation. It's basically I can't read. Kazenju. I'm pretty sure this was a Wayback Machine. And it's basically all the translations of Daizenshuu 7 and 6. For this one, it's Daizenshuu 6. And in this case, it's all the movies. And that's where I got all the statements for my movie scaling videos about the whole timeline. So for example, I bring up the old movies, the first old Dragon Ball movies and Janemba, because it's stated right here for movie 1. It's about the same time as on TV up until Goku meet Bulma. However, with the confrontation of the Gurumi's army, who are seeking the full star Dragon Ball and so on, it's probably appropriate to consider this the events of a completely different world from the TV show. Which is true, because in this movie, it shows Goku meeting Oolong. It shows meeting the girl. I forgot her name. But it shows Goku meeting Bulma. But then they were immediately attacked by that army. The introduction, or the way Goku meets Yamcha is written differently. And so on. Like, yeah, these guys, there is no mention of Pilaf. It completely they meet Master Roshi differently. It contradicts the first arc of the original Dragon Ball. So that's why Daizenshuu itself is willing to acknowledge the different worlds. So which is more canon? The anime version or this random timeline of this movie? Probably the anime, specifically for GT. Obviously, it's still canon within the franchise, but to say that there's only one movie timeline already makes it... If you prove that the movies are all in one timeline, then this movie pretty much contradicts the anime of the first arc. And then in the second movie, likewise, I'm pretty sure it was stated the same thing. Goku and Krillin are training as pupils under Master Roshi, searching for the Dragon Balls, as the same as show. But points like training by searching the Sleeping Princess and the time frame don't sync with the TV show. So even Daizenshuu 2 or Daizenshuu 6 still claims that, yeah, maybe similar events played out by the time the Pilaf arc ends, but then they're meeting a prince. They're trying to find a princess. That does not happen in the original anime. And I forgot that they also, in this movie, they introduced Launch, which contradicts how they met Launch in the anime or the original manga. So that's another case of different parallel universe. Mystical Great Adventure, the third movie, not including Path to Power. This work is notable for its many points of differences with the Time series, such as the social position of Tien, Shinhan, and Chaozu are set up, the existence of the Mifan Empire, the opening of the Great Martial Arts Tournament. It's a drama set in a completely different world from than the TV series, which is true. Because the way it's implied, it seems that this was after the first training. So Goku does not have his Korin training. He hasn't trained for the 3 years for this 22nd Budokai. Yeah, we see Tao destroying or killing General Blue. Chaozu is an emperor for some reason. The way Upa's father died is differently. For some reason, members of the Red Ribbon Army is under the supervision of Chaozu. I forgot even yeah, Arale appears in this movie, helping fight Tao Pai Pai with Goku. So, is this canon to the movie timeline? Is this canon to the anime? Probably not. You know what I mean? What side is this? It's a Wayback Machine. It was the old website of Kanzenshu, and basically they translated all of the pages of the Daizenshu 6. So the original Japanese text of Daizenshu 6 would be translated to this. Now, obviously, I know you give these same pages to a million Japanese readers, they're gonna have their own alternate text definitions, but this is basically what's gonna be generally translated into. So now we get into the actual movies. Movie 1, Dead Zone. Due to the appearance of young Gohan is unmistakably after Goku and Chi-Chi wed, but due to the fact that Goku, who dies in a battle with Raditz, is alive, this must be before the events of Raditz. And then as I can even put in the video, but hold on. I can even find it real quick within my own video. Yeah, I might as well just use my Garlic Jr. video. Where the heck is it? Yeah, right here. There you go. Okay. Yeah, so in Daizenshu 7, page 26, the Daizenshu 7 timeline says Goku faces Garlic Jr.'s gang who had kidnapped Gohan. And then I didn't include it in this video in particular, but then in the same timeline, it also includes the filler arc of Garlic Jr. Gohan facing the return of Garlic Jr. basically. And then right next to, after that, boom, right here, Daizenshu 7, page 28, the next page, age 764 to 767, Cooler, it's actually Cooler, but whatever. I decided to be more accurate to the American localization. Cooler invades Earth and battles Goku. So that's the only time that Daizenshu 7, and keep in mind, I think I can find the Chozenshu eventually, but Chozenshu, which is the updated version of Daizenshu, still has these two statements included. So there you go. So that's why I say Dead Zone and Cooler's Revenge could be canon, at least to the anime, if you wanted to hold GT connected to the movies. But like I said, if the fact that Daizenshu 7 confirmed that there's other worlds for the first 3 early Dragon Ball movies, then that kind of puts into question these two statements. But that's why I say, to give GT the benefit of the doubt, maybe movie 1 and 5 are canon, but even I still agree that's kind of questionable. But anyways, yeah, we already went through movie 1, movie 2, World's Strongest. It says right here, I'm pretty sure right here it actually mentions the episode names and of the anime and where they try to put the movie in conjunction to the anime releases. So for movie 2, it specifically states that from Goku's Dogi, having the Kame mark on the breast and Kyle mark on the back, it seems that this event is between the battle with Vegeta and Goku's arrival on planet Namek. However, there are also inconsistencies with like Gohan being on Earth when he should be in the middle of fighting on planet Namek. So that means this movie should happen around the time Goku one-shots Raccoon. But we clearly see, if you watch the movie, Piccolo's still alive, even though the whole point of going to Namek was to revive everybody who died from Nappa or the Saiyans. But then also, if Goku did arrive on Namek, he should have his 100 times gravity training, where he can use Kaioken times 10, but the most he used against Wheelo is times 4. So that's kind of weird. That's why I'm saying, like, the inconsistencies kind of contradicts the anime, and if the anime is the top primary canon for GT, then how can we say these movies are canon? Like 100% one-to-one canon. Movie 3, it should happen after Goku arrives on Namek, and then between the final showdown with Frieza. From the Go mark and the breast with the Dogi seems stories after Goku arrives on Namek. However, there are inconsistencies like the stage being set on Earth, which would nonetheless correlate to World's Strongest actually. And the Daizenshuu 7 explicitly says that make it fair to say that this is a movie only story. So that's kind of makes you think type of thing. Like they say Dead Zone is canon, but then all these other movies they accept that there's inconsistencies. So it's like, wait a minute. Movie 4. From the fact that Goku has not yet become a Super Saiyan, this story takes place before the final showdown with Frieza. However, at this time, Goku should be in the midst of his battle on planet Namek. This must also be a movie inconsistency. So, I'm just counting, but there's like movie 1, Dragon Ball, movie 2, movie 3. Movie 1 is the only time they might consider canon to the Z anime. Movie 2, no. Movie 3, no. And movie 4, no. So that's already, 6 movies out of 7 that acknowledge movie inconsistencies? Movie 5, which I brought up, Daizenshuu 7. Here's what this has to say. Trunks appears. Incredible Strongest or Stronger, which is this movie's official original name. The artificial humans appear. In the movie, Comment Center says, ever since Goku returned from planet Namek. From this, we can be sure that this is an event during the 3 years from when Trunks appeared to the arrival of the artificial humans. Basically, the 3-year time skip, or training. And then not to mention the movie literally shows footage of the Bardock special. So... And yes, again, if you read the original Daizenshuu scans, they would have. It's not how would you say? It's not organized the same way, but this is basically what would be translated within those descriptions. So there you go. Movie 1 and movie 5 are the only current official movies that were accepted by Daizenshuu 7, but they still contradict their own logic. Movie 7, again, I agree. Some people do want to think that movie 7, Return of Cooler, might happen during the same 3-year time skip, but Daizenshuu 7 contradicts this, because right here it still puts the movie in between the anime episode of the announcement of the Cell Games, the current rise of the Cell Games. So they try to put the movie in between these episodes, I guess, or these sections within the episodes of the anime. From Goku's Markless Dogi, Kami being Dende, which again, if you do see the original movie, we do see a brief shot of Dende being the Kami, and Vegeta transforming into a Super Saiyan, so no mention of grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, or sorry, grade 2 and 3, or Super Saiyan 2 for that matter. We can infer that this is the event from between when the Cell Games were announcing and their opening. So Daizenshuu 7 pretty much believes that it should happen during the Cell Games, but like I said, Why is Gohan still in his young form? No mention of grade 2 or 3. Whereas Trunks? Why is Goku, you know, maybe not using grade 4 potentially? Etc, etc. Movie 7, which is Android 13. Again, during when Jiro dies and Cell transforms. This time period can be inferred from the fact that Dr. Gero is exterminated during the course of the film, and that Gohan cannot yet become a Super Saiyan. So remember when people say that, oh, Koyama believes every villain he writes after the other must be stronger. But then the problem with that logic is, okay, if Metacooler is specifically from the Cell games, but Android 13 is written after Metacooler, does that mean Android 13 from a previous arc is stronger than a villain from a future arc? It's the same way, like, trying to not what Koyama said, but imagine if I said, or a guidebook said that, oh, well, Willow happens after the Buu saga, but the movie happens during the early Saiyan arc. So does that mean Willow is stronger than a Buu saga character? Or is the villains from the Buu saga stronger than Willow? That's why I don't... It's a weird argumentation to justify that. But anyways, besides that, however, at the time frame, Goku was either passed out from a contagious disease or in the middle of training in the room of spirit and time. It can be said that these are the events of a parallel world. So that's already another time the Daizenshuu 6 acknowledged that there being a parallel world. People try to say, oh, well, it's not plural, so maybe it's just referring to another movie timeline, but it's like, no, they're Xenoverse, Heroes, Budokai, Tenkaichi, all the what-if scenarios can just mean there is indeed a multiverse in Dragon Ball. I mean, even the Trunks with... Remember Daizenshuu 7, I believe? There's like 4 timelines. Maybe this is just one of those 4 timelines that Trunks accidentally created. That's movie 7. Movie 8. Right here, for movie 8 Broly, people's favorite Green Man character. From a fact that Gohan becomes a Super Saiyan, it seems that this is an event from around the time of the final showdown with Cell. However, at the same time, it's a mystery why Goku and the others are leisurely having a cherry blossom viewing when they should be stressed out for the Battle of Cell. So right here is the perfect example of why I'm being charitable to allow Dead Zone and Cooler's Revenge to be canon to GT. Because even Daizenshuu 6, when they try their best to try to correlate these movies to when they could have happened to the anime, but even they acknowledge that their logic does not make sense. They say it could have happened during the Cell games, but then if it did, it's a mystery why they would be doing their activities. Because remember in the anime episode when Goku came back to test his power, or to sense Cell's power and stuff, everyone were like, Goku, can you or can you not beat Cell? Goku was like, I'm not sure. Honestly, don't think we can, but we just have to try. And everyone was legit just feeling a huge sense of despair. They legit were like, bro, what can we do? Are you telling me we can't win? They felt scared. They don't know how to feel. And yet in this movie, they're just casually relaxing. They're just casually relaxing while Cell is about to destroy Earth. That's why it's, again, the fact that Daizenshuu 6 acknowledged and point out their own inconsistency with their own logic puts into question why should the GT series be connected to the movies in general. Since, again, people really want to say that, oh, it is canon to the Toei anime, but then how can we prove the movies are canon to the anime if the guidebooks themselves are contradictory to their own logic, or even the movies itself being contradictory? Because people want to say, oh, maybe the guidebooks are outdated, oh, well, they're not written by Toriyama, whatever argument you want to say by from appeal to authority. Well, even if you just watch the movie as itself, it's still contradictory to the anime. So that's why it's hard to really justify it. Movie 9, BoJack. In this film, it is said that the future Trunks, I don't know why they worded it that way, that the future Trunks had obliterated the artificial humans, number 17 and 18. From this, we can infer that the battle with BoJack was an event that happened several months after the Cell games. Okay, I just reread that after my BoJack video. Several months after the Cell games. Now again, the only contradiction, well, okay, there's two problems with this one. The only two problems is that for some reason Daizenshuu 7 allowed Dead Zone and Cooler to be canon to the anime, supposedly, but not BoJack. And the only thing that happens, as I said in the anime, is that Goku breaks King Kai's homemade house with near the Snake Way, which we see in the movie. But in the anime, they just immediately enter the Otherworld tournament arc and meet PyCon and stuff. But in this movie timeline, or this movie events, they decided to, I guess, live near Snake Way, apparently. I guess. I don't know why, but there you go. So that's why I always am like, because I agree, there's not that many contradictions for BoJack specifically, but it is interesting that they call out their own hypocrisy, but not BoJack, which is weird. That's kind of like, okay, I sure? I don't know. Movie 10. We can infer that from Vidal's Hellstar and the fact that Goku's dead, that this is right before the 25th Budokai. But like I said, I brought up, they used the Dragon Balls technically, so they shouldn't be active by the time they used it after Majin Vegeta killed everybody in the tournament. And I'm not sure if it's stated here, but it is stated by Gohan himself that he trained. Now, because again, it's very much a priority that the anime is a top priority where Gohan didn't train, but in this version he did in fact trained. Which, the fact that Koyama himself said that he has to write these movies in advance and not know what the heck happened, then naturally Koyama would not know that in Toriyama's original ideas was to have Gohan not train. So that's why it's kind of weird, you know what I mean? Movie 11, which is Bio Broly, people's least favorite timeline or movie. From the fact that during the movie, number 18 presses Mr. Saiyan to hand over the prize money, this must happen after the conclusion, or there must be after the conclusion of 25th Budokai. However, during this time frame, the Super Warriors should be extremely busy with Majin Buu. So it's a movie-only story. So once again, another time, they bring up Bio Broly as a movie event only. They should be extremely busy in the battle with Majin Buu, which is true. Because in the end, Goku is back in Otherworld. Yet for some reason, meanwhile in the afterlife, Kaio requests that Goku put down Broly, who is still running wild after falling to hell. So even though Goku's back in Otherworld, the kids don't know the fusion dance even though they should. There is no mention of Majin Buu at all. There's no showings of Gohan or Vegeta. So either Vegeta's dead, Gohan is maybe training with with Kai, but there's no mention of the Kais. We don't know. We still do not know what the heck happened. Finally, Fusion Reborn, people's favorite movie to bring up regarding the canonicity of the movies. We can infer that this is the event during the middle of the battle with Majin Buu from the fact that Goku mentions Majin Buu's name during the course of the movie. More like just one time, but sure. So yes, Daizenshuu does acknowledge that point. But then it says the appearance of Gotenks and the fact that Vegeta is dead. But as I brought up, Videl doesn't know Shenron, even though they technically wish back people. Gohan is back on Earth when he should be training with Supreme Kai. like, if Vegeta's dead, but then he should, like, technically be alive. If it's after the defeat of Boo. There's just so many contradictions. It just contradicts a lot of things in many ways. And then finally, if it decides to load. Movie 13, since Goku and Vegeta both have physical bodies during the crest of the story, peace has returned to Earth. From this, there's no mistaking that this is a story after the conclusion of the battle with Boo. But, as we brought up with all the other movies, well, a lot of the movies are movie events only. They're in parallel worlds. They question its own logic to connect to the anime. So that's also kind of, And then, I believe Special 2 also acknowledges it. They also bring up the TV specials. This depicts a story from the future world where teenage Trunks is from. In brief, it is an event from a different history than the one advanced in the original work or TV series. So once again, Daizenshuu 6 acknowledges a different history, i.e. universe, timeline, parallel world, whatever term you want to use, still acknowledges that. So it's not just a one-time usage with the Super Android 13. No, it's even acknowledges it for the TV special. And I also forgot, the TV special is also different from the manga. The manga has Trunks still attain Super Saiyan before Future Gohan dies, but then in most mediums, for the TV or for the TV special, the anime, Super, the video games, they always instead have Trunks obtain Super Saiyan after Future Trunks dies, rather than Toriyama's version where he did have the form already before he died. So once again, it's like, well, which is more canon, the original work of Toriyama or the anime version that has Trunks obtain Super Saiyan? It's kind of hard to argue that. And there you go. And then, unfortunately, this doesn't include, you know, Battle of Gods and stuff. But, yeah, that's why I'm always just like, well, who knows? Who knows? Yeah, again, I feel like that's a lot of proof for people to understand why I'm so adamant about enforcing canon, because if I were to say everything is canon, then everything will just fumble into chaos. I can just be like, oh well, episode 1 Goku is actually out of Versal, GT Goku is out of Versal, Dragon Ball Super Goku is out of Versal, because everything is canon, right? Because of Shin Budokai, because of Budokai 3, because of Tenkaichi, because of, you know, everyone would, in the comments, would obviously be like, no, what are you talking about? Tenkaichi is not the truest canon. No, DBZ Kakarot is not the truest canon. Blah, 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 blah. That's why I try to establish a canon, because if I don't, well, then it's just going to be a free-for-all, and people don't like it when I just using everything. That's why I emphasize that most of my videos are a composite source from the get-go. But when people just want to solely focus on one version of a character, then I establish those sections where I'm like, okay, here's just movie scaling only, here's anime scaling as well, here's video game scaling, etc., etc. That's why it's always something I hard press on to people, because if I don't, well then it's gonna be a convoluted mess at that point. Anyways, let me keep up with the chat. Cowboy, I can debate DBZ out of Versa due to it never been said fourth dimension like Marvel DC, so DBZ 4D is assumptions. Numbers, oh sorry, the DBZ is 4D because Marvel DC, but that's not canonically true. Oh, Featherine would lose to DBZ. Oh, would lose to DBZ, so imagine DBH. Since, yeah, it's a different timeline, the DBZ movies is even worse. Like, there's a star level feat in it. Yeah, and the feats also kind of go really ham. Like, Garlic Jr. is apparently, possibly a Beyond 4D, Beyond Universal during the Saiyan arc. So maybe Raditz is also Universal if we upscale them. That's kind of weird. Dr. Wheelo's only planet level at his utmost ability. Metacooler is apparently immeasurable speed at max. Broly is a threat to the entire universe. Can literally destroy a galaxy when suppressed. When even Super Perfect Cell at his max can only destroy the solar system, supposedly. Like, the jump from solar system level to galaxy level is insane. Or Janemba, literally affecting the entire macrocosm of Universe 7, compared to Buhan, even at his best, is just shouting the living universe out of existence. Let alone Janemba literally affecting multiple different universes, or Buhan just shouting one universe out of existence. It's like, dang, that's a huge gap. And then Hirudegarn, who's just in the movie just destroying a city. Like, okay, buddy. Oh yeah, I forgot the whole scaling of the villains. Like, Koyama says in his own statement that he tries to write the villains to be stronger than, or at least as strong as the new one, but then he concedes that Broly is the strongest and could not think of a stronger villain than him. And then even Toei, if you ignore Koyama, they still say that Janemba is stronger than Hirudegarn, even though Koyama says that he writes the next villain stronger than the last. So then who is more accurate, Koyama or Toei? Apparently Janemba is stronger than Hirudegarn, even though Koyama believes the next villain, i.e. Hirudegarn, should technically be stronger than Janemba. Or either that, or you just default back to Broly being the strongest. So that's why it's... But then if you do accept that logic, then that means Metacooler, who should be relative to the Cell Games era's level of scaling, is weaker than Super Android 13, who's only within the Android saga, which I know that may not be a huge gap, but the difference between Super Saiyan Vegeta, or the Androids twins, compared to Perfect Cell, who is stronger than 17, who is stronger than 18, who is weaker than 16, who is weaker than Semi-Cell, who is weaker than Grade 2 Vegeta, who is then weaker to Perfect Cell, who is then weaker than Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, who, by the way, is weaker than Broly, according to Koyama statements. It gets convoluted. You see what I mean? That's why it's like, ugh, I don't know about that, Chief. What do you think about the theory of DBZ having Buddhism and Hinduism cosmology with infinite dimensions? That's also kind of because even Koyama brings that up, that he tries to compare the real world. Actually, I can't even bring it up as a... is it 20? I keep forgetting to... I need to bookmark these names properly. Is it this one? Darn it. Yeah, if only I can actually bookmark these things properly. Man, what the heck? I really need to bookmark these things properly. My bad. This does correlate to the whole Hinduism and Buddhism statement. Actually, I even forgot about that. I think I even have that regarding to that. If I can find it, I'll definitely show it to you guys. Yeah, I'm telling you guys, if you look at his tweets, it's the year 2024 and bro still is hyping up his child as the strongest. Because people do say like, oh, well, those interviews were outdated, but it's like, nah. How many years later, bro still is hyping up the boy. Like, gosh dang. Where the heck is it? Ugh. Did I seriously miss to write this? Oh my gosh, that's gonna be annoying. Now, again, I will concede to Maku. He has brought up multiple times that maybe, or that the movie timeline is the same as the Z timeline. And even recently, March 3rd, 2024, I'll show the tweet. Because I want to be genuine. I want everyone to acknowledge both sides. But he has even said that the anime timeline should be as strong as the movie timeline. So if you do want to believe in that, then go right ahead. I'm just saying, based on the preponderance of evidence, I'm more so leaning on allowing each movie to be its own canon scaling, or its own, you know, self-contained scaling. But that's why in my videos, I still nonetheless do a composite scaling to say, okay, what if they were as strong as their anime or manga counterpart, to, you know, see how they still stack up to current time. Because I don't want to... There are certain things that I do want to be... I like to be more vocal about regarding, you know, like grade form scaling or like the timeline canon and stuff. But there are some things where I still say, hey, you guys can still make up your own conclusions. I don't want my, you know, critical opinions to determine what you guys should decide. I'm just saying, at the very least, you should still try to acknowledge where I'm coming from, you know? Dang it, I swear, I know I had it. I know I had it. Okay, I'll definitely find it, guys. Don't worry. I know there is one specific statement regarding the whole Buddhism scaling. I just can't find it for the life of me. I know I bookmarked it, that's for sure. Yeah, so in case anyone was wondering, yeah, if people were to ask, where do I find these Koyama's tweets, they are officially from his Twitter, or his X, I guess, his X account. And that's where I just screenshot it and put it in my videos because, yeah. Okay, here it is. Here it is. Finally. I found it. Okay. Let me get the thing here. There you go, right here. Yeah, so this was recent. April 25th, 2024. Someone asked, Koyama, question, are there higher dimensions in Dragon Ball where in each higher dimension there are an additional dimensional axis, 1, 2, 1D, 2, 3, or this question does not, is there any evidence in work or not? So, you know, mathematical dimension. But then he says, I don't know anything about the Dragon Ball setting. This is just my general opinion. The world we live in is the third dimension. The world prepared for those who have passed away is the fourth dimension. The world where God, quote unquote, lives is the fifth dimension. It appears that the world exists up to at least seventh dimension. So do not take his this out of context. He says it does not correlate to Dragon Ball's setting. This is just like the way, it's more like when you were bringing up the Buddhist or Buddhism perspective. This is kind of his, like, his religious, I guess, cultural beliefs. Or you know what? It's kind of like flat earthers, people who believe that Earth is actually flat. It's that type of belief, like from a scientific standpoint. It's like, actually, Numbers, the Earth is indeed flat. So Koyama, in his spiritual belief, he believes that there is dimensions, but there is another tweet. He says that his belief of the real world does not correlate to Dragon Ball. So when people say, or when people use his tweets regarding this, do not use that, because that's just his opinion regarding that. Now, maybe if this does have some form of correlation to Buddhism or Hindu religion, and maybe there's some way to justify those religious practices being applicable to Dragon Ball, then sure, by all means. I mean, I've already told you how many times is applicable or possible argumentation to allow out-reversal Goku. So if there is a way to prove a religion dimension scaling to be possible for Goku in Dragon Ball or other characters in Dragon Ball, then by all means go right ahead. But anyways, the other tweet I wanted to bring up is right here. It was also recent, March 3rd, 2024. Translated, there is a time lag between the original work and the anime at that point. Basically, the strength, the power of the movie and the anime is the same. There is another tweet, I think it was like 2021 or something like that, but he did say something similar. Like, yeah, the anime should be the same as the anime, or the anime should be the same as the movie, but there is a time lag. So he is very consistent with certain points, but he is very consistent in saying that, yeah, they should be around, it should be like the anime, but there is a lag, but there is a contradiction. We did have to write things around because the working with the anime and the movie and the manga makes it hard to do. So yeah, he is very, keep in mind, please do not harass Koyama. He's a chill old man. He's being, I think he's a really cool dude because he's just being very, just like me. He's trying to be very social, very open and discussive with the fan base who just love the works he's made. So he has no negative intention. He constantly says this is just his opinion. He doesn't really prioritize it. He doesn't really say, oh, you guys should only listen to me. No, he's a really nice guy. This is just his opinions over the years. So again, if you want to take his authority as an important source of information, then go right ahead. But do note that there are times where it concedes to his own contradictions or his own inconsistencies regarding some of his statements. So that's why I bring them up in my videos, because he is the screenwriter. He did write them, but while there are certain moments where he is very useful to bring up regarding certain claims that I make, there are times he also admits that sometimes that logic doesn't work and whatnot. So yeah. I can move it. I can get rid of it now. Let's see. DJB. Oh wait, hold on. Okay, so yeah, I already explained the Buddhism cosmology. I'll definitely not say everything is canon. I would never argue all of them. Yeah. I'm the same. I don't want to say like, oh yes, actually that Goku firefighter is totally canon to GT. It's very important to scaling. It's like, who cares? Do you think that the custom character from Xenoverse 2 at his peak is stronger than the Migra? And oh yeah, 100%. No, I think he surpasses them because he goes through higher struggles than the first Avatar character. Numbers. Well, to be fair, Piccolo also could create a universe before Red. Yeah, you're right. You're spitting. It makes sense. Garlic June Creek could do the same. Yeah. You can argue Cell Galaxy Universal. Yeah, I'm aware. Broly was stronger than anything coming before him, but after they brought up Janemba, so that statement is outdated. It doesn't count. Well, that's why I brought up the whole statements, because there is the movie pamphlet guidebook or whatever where maybe 2000, the 2000 era. He doesn't think of it now, but no, this is the year 2024, and the boy still believes he's stronger. So. Nah, Koyama's surprisingly consistent with that, but that's where I say, like, do you want to agree with him or not? If you do, then go right ahead. Broly's stronger. But if you don't agree, that's perfectly fine. You can still find ways to prove Janemba is stronger, so that's perfectly fine, whatever. Again, I myself, I do have my opinions, but if someone were to ask me, is there a way to argue or justify one side over the other, then I could definitely explain how is it possible to justify one side over the other. I don't like Super Saiyan Blue, not very much. Yeah, Buddhism thing is real. Oh, I'm aware. A Buddhism thing. Well, yeah, but I do believe Koyama himself. I gotta find the tweet, but he did say how Goku, our Goku from Dragon Ball, is not the same Goku from Journey to the West. So trying to apply that via association fallacy is not applicable. So there. Apparently, even Tien Shinhan was a Buddha. Yeah, with the whole third. Yeah. I personally think Broly's around cell level. I don't think he's solo as Boo. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. Broly owes me $5. Hey, man, same. He destroyed the South Galaxy out of box. It's just fun currency, different places. Yeah. Because real life is finite and four-dimensional, but in Busan, you... Oh, yeah. That's fine. Solar system Dragon Balls can be nebula with countless stars. Yeah, I'm aware of that. So when the guidebook says DBZ is universe is infinite, it's not hyperbole because it's Buddhism cosmology. Yeah, I'm aware of the whole infinite. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think he's talking about DBZ universe, but because afterlife and metaphysical where time space is irrelevant. Yeah. What do you think about Superman being debunked to planetary? I mean, I would hope Superman is not planetary only. What the heck? I guess everything I've read about him is a lie. Alright, sure. Yeah, I mean, the whole hyperbolic time chamber is the universe, and, well, Goku confirmed that it is at least the size of a planet. It doesn't have its own time-space, but he says the shape or the size is only planetary. So that's why it's kind of, Maybe there is a time chamber that can allow it to be universal in size, so that's perfectly fine, but whatever. Who cares? But yeah, again, that's why I try my best to acknowledge my points where I'm like, I don't know, the story doesn't explain, so I'm not gonna make a bold claim that there are certain factual objections. Like, no, there are certain things where via dimensional scaling, grade forms, or just the lore within Dragon Ball that is not clear cuts, so I myself don't like to make bold claims that I literally cannot prove is if it's true or not. So I much rather be more blatant with the uncertainties than feel the need to answer something that literally cannot be objectively proven. Otherwise, that kind of makes it boring, you know, if we assume that there must be an answer to everything. Otherwise, there's just less to discuss about. Yeah. I mean, Kami did create the moon, so that's not really that surprising. If he can create the moon, then him possibly creating the time chamber wouldn't be that surprising to me. I'm not sure if that's a confirmed though. Although, like, if we mean, I don't think even old Kami did it, because technically there are other Kamis before him, so maybe it wasn't him. Yeah, I guess Superman's always been just street level, apparently. Yeah, I guess this entire time he was just trashed here. He was just overhyped. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Again, I just have fun with the comment section. I don't really take it personally. It's just that if we want, I prefer there to be some form of discussion rather than just immediate, no, you wrong, nah, wrong, you just dumb numbs, you don't know what you're talking about, you never watched the original story, blah blah blah, or nah, you're just dumb, Hinduism, modalism, you just dumb, you don't believe outer Goku. It's like, nah, come on, let's have a proper discussion about it more than anything. And plus, I prefer that we have a new discussion, because especially after how many years we've looked into these things, maybe it's about time we actually give them a proper reevaluation, a proper update. Because who the heck has been talking about Hotchog before, my video? Other than just video game mechanics. It's like, oh yeah, you get to play them now. Okay, and stuff. I feel like there can be more than just, oh, He just appears again and that's it. The size is irrelevant, but Kami created a time chamber that's its own. Yeah, that's true. Did Dende create the time chamber? I don't know. I need some. I need that sauce, bro. Where's that source coming from? I mean, I do have my own personal Numbs Zenshu, but I don't have a copy of my head canon Zenshu, so that's possibly why. Almost closed out of the tab. Can't destroy plan, can't go faster light. Yeah. Yeah. Infinite mass. You can't be infinite mass. Same with Flash. Wally West can only go FTL while the rest is super sonic or hypersonic. Bruh. That's funny. Oh, man. Anyways. Yeah, I think I'm about to head out in a bit, guys. That was already a nice long stream. I already supported the boy Captain with his newest video. It was actually really well thought out, well constructed. I appreciate the shout out from the boy. And likewise to Quaman. Yeah. Again, that was legitimately a bad coincidence for me. Was it actually? Hold on, I need to find this real quick. Bruh, yeah, Super Saiyan Blue sucks. Bruh, that's funny. Oh my gosh. Maybe I should react to that video. Maybe another time, but yeah, that's funny. I don't know, maybe y'all gotta give me some suggestions as to what I should stream or title these streams. I don't know, I just make them clickbaity enough, or just, I don't know, I just like, hey, Numbs is here, go hang out, and that's it, just call it a day, I don't care. Does that mean I actually have to put effort into these streams? Oh man. Yeah. Maybe what I should do, if someone pays me enough, maybe I should have like the GT agenda. I just flip the script on its head. I just go from, yeah, GT doesn't scale to the movies, and then next live stream I'll be like, boys, y'all are stupid. Y'all are morons. Y'all don't know what you're talking about. GT Goku doesn't only scale to the movies. He scales to everything. He scales to Sonic. He scales to the Shin Megami Tensei. He scales to Featherine. He scales beyond DC. Like, the new GT agenda. I just go crazy. Oh, that'd be so funny. That'd be so funny. I just flip the script. I'd be like, yeah, you know what? I'm done. I was being nice Numbers, but now I'm gonna just go Joker Numbers. That's right, GT Goku does in fact scale to the movies. Then people won't know what the heck is real anymore. That'd be so funny. Man. It's a cool form, but dang, that form taking the L left or right. Which form does Which form does take the most L? I want to say Super Saiyan Blue, but I actually don't know. Because Super Saiyan 4 is just, well... I mean, I don't want to say Super Saiyan 1 takes the most L, just because everyone uses it now. I feel like that's just more street cred in the grand scheme of things. Hard to say, honestly. But yeah. I think that's a good enough time to end things. I feel like we've gone through quite a bit. Go into the Daizenshu, react to my boys' vid. Talk about more of my agenda. I'll always be about that agenda. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a nice way to be consistent with y'all. If someone sees me changing sides, then maybe I should just give up and be like, actually, you know what? Yeah, time to cancel Numbs. Going from one side and then going to the other. Maybe you should just give up. Alright. What do you think about the World of Void feat? I'm assuming from Super specifically, not from GT. I mean, it is impressive. I mean, I like to see someone else here try to shake a void by simply existing. I know people, there's some, like, apparently the original, like, anime subs mistranslated it, and that is not actually, like, a void, or, like, it's not, like, an actual infinite, quote-unquote, reality. It's just nothing. But even then, that doesn't really devalue the feat anyways. Because the fact that Jiren's feats is still scalable to Infinite Zamasu, who literally became the timeline, and the fact that their fighting was enough to influence a realm that at most the gods can affect, there's still enough way through the context of the anime to make it impressive nonetheless. Probably not for the manga. The manga is kind of is a very much a vanilla scaling version, but the anime itself, there's definitely ways to still make that feat impressive, even if we downplay it to not make it infinite or whatever. Any last final questions or opinions or whatever you guys want me to say? And after that, I'm heading out. I guess the only other thing I will have to say is that in terms of my video, I mean, I did say I'm gonna have to, into the scripting process. I know there's still a few things I want to look into real quick, but other than that, I think it's gonna be going smoothly. Oh yeah, I totally forgot. Speaking of the video, I didn't even bring that up. Yeah, the video editing program, yeah, that's just the new donation goal. I want to improve my editing game, and so having a few bucks in will definitely help that out and improve, hopefully, the quality of my video in terms of effects and other stuff. So that would definitely be helpful. But again, you guys don't need to. The videos will still go on regardless of such. But it does help out no matter what. And it could be from Super Chat to PayPal to whatever. Which, again, I forgot. I thought I'd have it. Maybe I should do that from now on, from the beginning of all of my streams, just to have it pinned. But yeah, because Adaverse mean out of space-time. Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. 100%. Totally. I think Cowboy's spitting, guys. Maybe he's onto something. Yo, my stomach is beyond the concept of space. I'm just saying, I think my stomach is at Universal too. I'm just saying. Because my hunger is boundless. So nothing I eat can satisfy my hunger because it's, you know, it has no concept of being satisfied. So my stomach is boundless. Alright, but anyways, guys, I think that should be the end of the stream. Thank you everybody who has come by. Once again, please support Captain's channel. His video he will definitely appreciate it. Even Quaman's videos, support their channel. Thank you guys for also supporting me and my videos. Thank you for hearing me ramble for far too long on about canon and stuff. I'm just a nerd at the end of the day. Don't take my videos or my comments seriously. I'm just another idiot within the sea of cringe on the internet. But I hope you guys have fun. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your night, whatever you're at. Again, video is still being in progress, but hope you enjoy it when it does come out. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the support, for the donation goal and stuff. So I'm not sure when I'm gonna stream. Maybe next week, maybe 2 weeks from then. But well, I'm definitely gonna be doing my best to stream more frequent, in case anyone misses me or missed the chance to interact with me live. And yeah, likewise, if you have any questions or, you know, suggestions, definitely wait until the next live stream. Post in the comments. Join my Discord if you have more to say. Maybe scans or whatever. But yep, have fun and take care. Thank you and bye-bye. Toodles.